Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
Welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Wednesday, folks. Listen, I can feel it. At some point very quickly in this show, we're playing the hockey video. Without a doubt. It is the day. It is a day for the hockey video. Coming off of the Baylor Lady Bears securing a monumental, some would say even program-defining win yesterday.
Mount Rushmore of wins.
Virginia Tech and the Lady Hokies, 90-48 in the round of 32. 7-seed Hokies going home. Same team that beat NC State earlier this season. Lady Bears, what are they doing? On the way.
Kim Mulkey doesn't lose a march.
The way.
She just doesn't. I wish she could, but she doesn't know how to.
Moving on.
She missed that part of the curriculum.
Moving on. They didn't teach that at Cornell.
Moving on up.
They don't teach losing.
They don't.
They don't teach
Not
losing.
in women's basketball.
In
for
women's
Baylor.
basketball at Cornell.
Hey. I don't know if their women's basketball is actually that good at Cornell.
At Cornell?
I don't think it's that good.
I'd be surprised. I hear Cornell's got great women's basketball this time of year.
This time of year, usually we're watching a lot of games. But
on TV?
That's no knock against. Actually, that's kind of a knock against women's basketball program. But yeah, usually they're watching these games.
They got a gym. They got a weight room. They got a weight room.
They got a weight room. That's true.
Women's basketball beat Virginia Tech yesterday, 90-48. On the softball side of things, they were on top of Sam Houston State at Sam Houston State, which is in Huntsville, Texas. Color me surprised. I did not know that until I was today years old.
I did not know that either. Okay,
did not know. Baseball at UT Arlington. They're up 3-0. You're like, all right, cruising, and then they're just going to win, and they didn't.
Second time this year that they've had someone come back on them like that.
Yeah, it was only 3-0, I think. I watched a little bit of it, but baseball ends up losing yesterday to UT Arlington on the road. In Arlington, 4-3, the final score in extra innings. They went the duration and then decided to play a little bit of free baseball, and it didn't work out for the old home team.
That's frustrating.
It worked out for that home team.
That's frustrating because they were so hot before that. They're playing so well.
Yeah.
What happened?
We got Marshall on the Impact Health Labs call line. Let's go ahead and get the calls early today. Before we do that.
Go ahead, crack it open now. Go ahead, let them know now.
Yay. Thank you, Armstrong. All right, Marshall on the Impact Health Labs call line. What's going on, Marshall?
Hey, how y'all doing, fellas?
Man, we're better now.
Marshall, it's Wednesday, my friend. This is a great day.
Hey. I don't know if y'all have checked it out, but on the calendar, this is one day before Thursday.
It's circled.
And there's only one Thursday per week.
Last one of the week.
Last Wednesday of the week. There's only one Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I didn't check my calendar today.
Well, hey, I've been watching y'all beat up on all of us with your Bear Games questions. I'm going to turn it around on y'all. I got one for y'all.
Love it.
Wow.
Absolutely love it.
All right. You have one choice.
You
got one choice. You can either ride for 3 or 4 hours with Jim Boeheim across country, or you can be in between the rim and the Mark Vital dunk. What do you choose?
Whoa. So I got to know, Marshall. I want to know, with Jim Boeheim, I mean, the odds that we're going to be running over we're in the car with Jim Boeheim for 4 hours.
Well, okay, Jim Boeheim walked away, so.
Right, that's my question, is Jim Boeheim gets off scot-free, but am I charged with manslaughter?
No. All that matters to you is that you walk away unscathed.
So what matters to me, I'm in the car with Jim Boeheim, but so basically, choice A, end up, getting off scot-free and taking out your worst enemies. Choice B, get yammed on by Mark Vital.
That's a good point. Also, Jim Boeheim, from what we know, only one count of this instance. So, I mean, all things considered, 1 in however many times he's been in the car.
The
Those
rest are
odds
covered up.
pretty.
The rest are covered. He does it every time he steps in the car. They just cover it up.
To my knowledge, the odds are pretty good. Whereas Mark Vidal's liable for a jam probably twice a game at least.
So what are you going?
I'm riding. Me and Boeheim are carpooling.
You're riding with Jim Boeheim.
Jimmy and Buddy are in the back seat. I'm in the front seat with Jimmy.
I don't think I can take the mental toll of that car ride. I'm going to have to lock in. I'm going to get dunked on one time by Mark Vidal. I'm not even going to try to stop him, but at the end of the day, I didn't kill anybody, and that's what matters most. I got murdered. There was a murder.
I'm realizing that I phrased this wrong. I should have said walking on the street while Jim Boeheim is
Oh, yeah. I want to keep my life here, Marshall.
I changed my
totally
answer.
changes it.
Change my answer.
Completely.
I'm with Vidal all the way. Change my answer.
The complexion of the Bear game just got a lot darker.
Change my
way
answer.
darker.
Mark Vidal all the way.
Mark Vidal's game.
Yeah.
Marshall, what do you pick?
Hey, guys. What you got?
What's your choice? Are you going with the Mark Vidal Yam?
Oh, my goodness. No, I'm not going with that.
So
I'd rather get hit by a car.
Wow. He's taking the Jim Boeheim off the chin.
Similar impact, from what I understand.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
I have seen him.
Yeah.
I have seen him.
Marshall's got a point
He's
there.
a big boy.
Well, you had a Bear Games question today. I kind of want to flip it a little bit, though, and do what non-baseball Baylor athlete?
Yeah.
Which one would be able to do it? You want to ask that?
The home run derby question?
Yeah.
What non-Baylor baseball athlete? We got one for you. Do you have another question, Marshall? Or was that what you wanted to get at?
That was my only Bear Games question.
Love it.
I messed up.
We're gonna flip this on you now and do a little Bear Games question for Bear Games question. You get one non-baseball Baylor athlete to bet on in a home run derby. Who are you taking?
Well, if I were baseball, the last thing I'd ever want to see is Rico Gathers.
Wow. Wow.
Think about Mark Vidal, though. I know you already mentioned him, but Mark Vidal yakking on a baseball, that thing's done.
That'd be atrocious.
I would hate to be that baseball.
I don't know, man. Rico Gathers sort of looks like he ate Mark Vidal.
Give me Blake
They
Shapen.
look the same, but Rico's a big old boy.
Yeah.
I guess Blake Shapen's actually on the baseball team.
Blake Shapen
so
is
never mind.
still, I think, technically on the baseball team. Marshall, you want Lilo and Stitch or Zootopia today? Jeez.
Brother, I really don't watch the Disney movies. Nightmare on Christmas, is that an option?
You know what? I'll give you Nightmare on Christmas. It lost yesterday, but we're gonna revive it because that's kind of the premise of the movie. Then Lion King. Do you like Lion King or Lilo and Stitch? Maybe you've seen these.
Yeah, Lion King's fine. Aladdin's fine. I just watched a few of them about 20 years ago, but I'm just not into all that.
It's been a while. Hey, Marshall, thanks for your call. Always love hearing from you when you shoot us your texts, your thoughts. We really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Enjoy y'all's show. Y'all keep it up. I'm going to hang up and listen to y'all.
Thanks, Marshall. Peace be still.
Is the matchup between Lion King and Hunchback of Notre Dame?
No.
That's how you tweeted it.
What is it? Is it Lilo? Is Lilo and Stitch have 2 games today?
It is. It's Lion King and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
And Zootopia and Lilo
and
and
Stitch. Yeah.
Dude, tough draw for Zootopia. Did y'all like Zootopia?
It was good.
Did y'all like it more than Lilo and Stitch?
I did not like Zootopia that much, but I definitely liked it more than Lilo and Stitch.
Really? Dude, I thought Lilo and Stitch, I feel like, is kind of a classic. Don't you think? No? Maybe that was just a me thing. Maybe I just got on Lilo and Stitch and just
Is
rode
it timeless?
that. Dude, I don't know.
Define timeless.
Experiment 626.
Down the horizon.
Oh, Zootopia.
Something.
Hello, on a Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Holla?
Yeah. Come on. T-Rex on the Impact Health Labs call line. Used to back hop last line. It says, auto screen says Cyrus.
I love it.
T-Rex, what's going on, man? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dude.
T-Rex.
Yeah, hump day.
Last one of the week.
I hope that died.
Hey, hey, it's a good day for humps.
Yeah, what he said. Lock that in. I don't know if I can corroborate
we like
that.
camels, man. Camels are good animals. They take you across the desert.
Yeah, Waco.
A lot of water.
I bet you that's about the only thing that Waco Zoo has. Is it the Cameron Park Zoo? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
You ever been?
Never been.
It's like 4
They
animals.
have bald eagles. They have America's treasure. Jeez, I ain't been there in 26 years, but I know they have bald eagles.
I think most of the animals have died in that span of 26 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah, T-Rex. There are not a lot of animals left at the Cameron Park Zoo. Armstrong, have you been? Cameron Park Zoo? There are like 7 animals.
T-Rex was in the zoo to start, but he escaped and has now since been at large ever since he exited about 1,000 years ago.
They're still looking for him?
Yep.
Hey, there's 5 movies about it.
And it never works out for the people. Somebody always dies. T-Rex always wins.
What's happening, T-Rex?
Zoom map.
Hey, man, it's a great day to be a Baylor Bear, isn't it? It's just, it's so sweet. We had both teams in the Sweet 16. No other Big 12 team can say that because the rest of them are choking in the round of 32, or if they even made it that far. So that's cool. Man, it's going to be real hard for me to decide, do I, buy a private jet to be able to fly between San Antonio and Indianapolis next weekend? I don't know how I'm going to pull it off. But, crazier things are happening. I'm getting married in a couple of days or a couple of weeks.
Go.
So,
Let's go.
I can probably pull off getting back and forth.
Woo!
Let's get it.
He's getting married.
Heck
he grew up on us so fast.
Allegedly. Nothing's guaranteed until it happens, right?
That's true.
That's true.
Got a great point. We're getting there, though. We're close.
Which way are you leaning right now, then, in terms of Indy versus San Antonio?
Oh, I'm definitely going to go Indy simply for the fact that, I love our women's team, but they've made it, I think, to the Final Four times now. They won 3 times, I believe.
Yep.
They're probably going to make it again this year. So, it's kind of one of those things, it's been, 70-something years since our men made it. So, you got to make that decision. It would definitely be cheaper to go to San Antonio, but, hey, man, got that stimmy check on the way. So,
stimmy in.
Got to use it appropriately.
Love it.
T-Rex, what do you think about Villanova? You think the Bears got a pretty good shot this weekend?
I don't concern myself with lesser people. So, I really want to play, Oral Roberts. So, by no means am I looking past, right? Villanova's a fine team. They made it to the Sweet 16. They're obviously good enough to be there. But they don't scare me in any way. So, as long as we play our game, which we've been progressively getting better, it seems like, I think we'll be all right. And I really hope Oral Roberts beats Arkansas. Arkansas has a good defense. I was talking with my brother about that earlier. But, hey, we'll worry about the next round when we get there. So let's just take care of Nova. And they were talking trash on Twitter after they beat North Texas and posting up, a welcome to Texas billboard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of y'all saw that, but they were acting like they own Texas. Well, North Texas, they tweeted out to Baylor, or their Barstool page, that's a little different, but, asking us to, avenge them. So if there's any North Texas listeners on here, we're going to avenge you, comrades. Don't worry. Nobody messes with Texas, except for ECU, but that's a different story.
That kind of feels like picking on little brother, right? It's like when you're in the schoolyard and the bully hits the little guy. It's like, dude, he's the 13 seed. What are you doing? Does that feel good to be the 13 seed and then claim that you somehow have some sort of stake in the state of Texas? Very soft move, Nova.
T-Rex, Bear Games question of the day today. If one non-Baylor baseball athlete was to compete in a home run derby and win it, who do you have your money on?
Are we going current or alumni?
I'll give you. I want to go. Let's go current. Let's go current.
Okay. Well, technically speaking, Blake Shapen is not currently on the baseball team. He did step away from the baseball team. He is no longer listed on the roster, to my knowledge. So I'm going with Blake Shapen.
Interesting. That's a loophole. He found a loophole.
He found a freaking loophole. All right. What if I said all time? Then who are you going with? Singletary.
Oh, I'm going with Max Munn. Oh, wait, you said non-baseball.
Non-baseball.
Oh, man. Dude, all time, I'm going to go with Bill Glass.
Interesting.
Locked in Bill Glass. Dude. The muscles.
Give me Sean Oakman with the bat.
Back in the day before any of us were alive, so.
All right, T-Rex, Lion King or Hunchback of Notre Dame? Dame.
I'm going to go with Lion King. I like to also lift up babies in the air and go,
that was impressive, actually. That was English. Zootopia or Lilo and Stitch?
I'm going to go with Zootopia because it is a great lesson for, especially in, current times of racism. It's a great lesson. If you watch that, you really watch the movie. That's really the message that they're getting across. So I think it's a good movie for all of us to watch and learn from, especially our kids. Raise them right from the get-go.
Wow, that was very profound.
This call turned so wholesome and sweet.
That was
T-Rex, thank you for your call today.
No, thank you for taking my call. Y'all have a great Wednesday.
You too.
You're the man, T-Rex.
Wednesday. How about it today? We were gonna have. What did I had something for? Oh, I found the camera. I looked up the Cameron Park Zoo. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's gibbons. They have gibbons.
What's a gibbon?
It's a gibbon.
It's a gibbon.
That Baylor beats Villanova. That's a gibbon. That's a gibbon, right?
That's funny.
Hey, they have agoutis, king vultures. Legit though, they have snakes, they have bison, deer.
That's actually, bison's a big animal.
Yeah. Coyote, blue heron. I shouldn't have crapped on the Cameron Park Zoo. I guess I just haven't been there when the animals are out. They have like a leopard, a lynx, did I say that? Bear, otter, golden eagle, bald eagle, parrots. And then I was like, okay, well that's like kind of okay, for a zoo.
Yeah.
Then tigers.
Oh my.
They have a lion. They have an orangutan. Sand lizard.
They got a lot. They got a lot here.
What's the lizard called? The big lizard, the Komodo dragon. Minjinx.
Those are. Dude, what about the time we did a game at China Spring? I guess it was a China Spring game. Was it like McGregor, Texas? Robinson, Texas.
No. I'd have to look. I don't know.
One of those.
In Robinson.
A city like that though, or a town like that, and it was literally like catty cornered next to like a wildlife preserve.
Like right behind the press box was an exotic zoo,
and it said occasionally a zebra. Was like their pitch.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Pitch.
Look it up, and you're like, okay, were we Mahia? No, Gerald. We were in Gerald.
Was that what it was?
We were in Gerald.
It was somewhere. I mean, China Spring beat the brakes
Either
off.
Gerald or Robinson.
It was not interesting second half.
Like you look back, and there's just this whole exotic zoo, and I was like, there can't be an exotic zoo here. So I Googled it, and turns out like there is.
Right.
And not only is there, they like list all the animals in the very bottom. It was like occasionally a zebra. It's a vanishing zebra. It only comes out from time to time. Don't count on it being there while you're there.
That should give you a good idea as to how much China Spring was up in the second half, because we talked about that for like the whole third quarter. It was good, though. It was good content.
It was great. Actually, really funny. We had a lot of listeners. Elephant, also there. Rhinoceros. The greater kudu will return upon completion of their new barn. So the greater kudu is getting a barn. Giraffes, ostriches. So actually the Cameron Park, I don't want to give them free pub here, but I kind of am.
I love it.
And saying the Cameron Park Zoo is maybe better than I cracked it up to be. I feel bad. You know what else happens at Cameron Park Zoo, Armstrong? Club Kool-Aid, that's right. Joe's calling in. Joe's want to talk some Baylor girls and guys basketball. Joe, what's going on? You're welcome to Up Tempo.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Man, I've known about Cameron Park since I was a very younger lad. Back in the day, in fact, I remember one year for Christmas time, they decorated Cameron Park. My dad actually did this Bengal tiger deal that was made out of iron, and then he outlined it in lights. So, but that's going way back, probably in the early 90s when it first was established, back when they actually had a few more animals than what they have now.
Yeah, would you agree, Joe, that over the years, like when you show up, you're like, where are the animals at?
Oh, yeah, by all means. I mean, it's been probably 25, 30 years since I've been there. But, people will come through and they'll talk about it. I'm like, yeah, good luck. Have fun. Yeah. Let me know what you see.
Good luck.
And it's always like, they'll always see like 5 different animals. They'll only see 5, but it'll be 5 different ones. It's really weird.
You never want to hear
Cameron Park's like, we got you.
Yeah, they just rotate them.
Never want to hear good luck going to the zoo. It's supposed to be like the pitch is like you're going to see animals.
Also, who's like, I'm going to Waco. What are you doing while you're there? We're going to the zoo. Yeah, I hear the Waco Zoo's got it's popping.
Going to Magnolia? No, Cameron Park Zoo. They got a kudu.
It's a football game this weekend. You going? We got a zoo trip planned that day. We're gonna go to Cameron Park Zoo. Spend 8 or 9 hours.
See, guys, I remember back when the Mammoth site was first being established.
Yeah. Have you been?
And I was thinking, okay, hey, they're gonna like correlate that with the zoo somehow. Now it got nixed, and now the Mammoth site's got his own little shindig out there. So but that's really dating me probably at this point.
Have you been to the Mammoth site?
Grade school when the Mammoth site happened.
Have you been there, Joe? I have wanted to go to the Mammoth site for a long time.
It's been many of years. The last time I was at the Mammoth site was when the archaeologists actually had the grids so that they could annotate all of their findings and the different bones and that kind of stuff. Wow. So it's been a very, very long time.
Wow. I've always wanted to go. I hear it's pretty cool. Joe, what are your thoughts, though, on Baylor men's and women's basketball? What are you liking right now?
Man, I'm loving life. I'm kind of gonna follow T-Rex a little bit. He's a good buddy of mine anyway, but I want to just throw it out there that it's a great day to be a Bear, both Lady Bears and being a regular Bear. That you gotta love them. They're playing great basketball right now. I think it was kind of interesting that they tried to throw us a monkey wrench on that very first game with the guys by Mark Vital fouling out with so much time left. But hey, the guys stepped up and said, all right, hey, next man up, let's roll. Granted, Vital's a huge key to our defense and a huge key. He's that not in the stat sheet guy, but he's definitely there as a key role, key cog in what we do as far as the way we play the game of basketball for the guys. And the girls, man, I'm loving it. I mean, everybody kept saying, oh, they're so young, they're this, they're that. And these girls are coming to play.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting up some serious numbers on these schools, and yet combined, they've allowed less than 100 points combined with the two games that they've played. And that's huge in guys or girls basketball.
Oh, 100%. And to your point about Vital, how encouraging was that to see this Baylor basketball team do well without one of their key cogs in the game? I mean, they played a man down from the starting lineup virtually the whole game. That's my point. I'm sticking to it.
Did we lose him? No, we didn't lose Joe.
Not Joe.
Did we lose him, Armstrong?
Not him.
You don't think so? Joe, can you hear us there? Joe, you there? We did. We lost him. Joe, call us back. 254-239-1122. He went to the zoo, went to the Mammoth Museum. While he's calling us back, we get the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line. Scotty B, the Baylor King, says, Baylor, he says, I don't, let's start here. Already looked at Michigan women's basketball. They have only 3 players who can shoot threes at or above 40%, at or above 30%. When the players attempted 40 or more three-pointers. He says, I don't know why Baylor men's tennis moved down to number 4, which is weird. Baylor women's tennis did move up to number 7 in the country.
Let's go.
That's actually wild. That's actually wild. He also says Baylor women's tennis does now have 3 ranked players with Mel Krywoj at 59, Livia Krause at 71, and Alicia Herrero-Lanana at number 111. Sorry, Scotty B, if I butchered a couple of those.
Depth.
Baylor women's tennis has 3 ranked doubles, 40 singles at number 40 with Mel and Angelina Shakrachuk, Livia Krause, Angelina Shakrachuk, and Mel and Alicia Herrero-Lanana. So 3 ranked in the doubles. Baylor men's tennis has 3 ranked singles, Matias Soto at 9, Adrian Boitan at number 90, and Spencer Furman at 114 for Baylor men's tennis. Bill in Austin says, the Cameron Park Zoo is awesome. Look it up. People from Austin drive there because the Austin one sucks.
Interesting.
I got you covered, Bill.
But you walk around in Austin, that's a zoo in itself.
I got you covered, Bill. I just took up his thing. I read it, and you know what, Cameron Park, they got it going on. Jimmy Blower then says, will the new basketball arena come with a gold statue of Kim Mulkey? I say make it 24 karat.
I think it should be. I think it should be. Armstrong's shaking his head no.
Joe's back. Hey, Joe! Men's and women's basketball, big day to be a Bear. Sorry you didn't finish your point.
Hey, sorry about that, fellas. What all did you guys get? Where did I cut off at?
Women's basketball had held both opponents under 100 points combined, which is big in either sport, and you're right.
I just said Vital.
Yes, sir.
Yep. I just said Vital not being in the game for Baylor to still do well was huge.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing for us because I mean, like I said, he was a huge key cog in the way we play basketball. I mean, the guy's a machine that never stops. Especially when it comes to intensity and when you need that go-to guy on defense. I mean, you've got one of the best big guys in him, and then, I mean, it goes without saying, Mr. Number 45. I mean, I don't even have to say his name, and everybody knows who he is.
Lockdown.
Off night.
Off night. Yes, sir. Those two on defense, I mean, who else do you need for defense besides those two? I mean, I think that you could almost play a 2-on-5 just having those two just because of the way that they get after the basketball.
No, I think you're right, and especially in
one
March.
Thing,
go ahead.
Just to throw it out there, I've actually officially moved from the Metroplex down to the McLennan County area now. I'm back in my home roots, back in original Bear country, and I have the Bear Cave on wheels now because I bought an RV, and that's my new house. I said it's cheaper than buying an apartment. It's cheaper than renting any place. So I have my own two wheels, and I have the Bear Cave on wheels now. So it's on now, and Waco's a great place. And anybody out there listening, if you need to come down and just hang out, have a good time, hey, come to Waco, fellas. There's great things happening down here.
Congrats, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Look, my grandma did that. Actually moved into a motorhome for a while, and she's still living in it.
Really?
She loves it. So cost efficient, and I mean, especially if you're one of those people that's like, hey, I don't need anything extravagant. If I can just have a place to sleep and a place to cook my meals every now and then, the rest of my life, I'm just living up, grabbing the world by its tail, and just getting it done. So Joe, congrats, man. Glad to hear the big life move.
Yes, sir, man. It's great. I'm living and loving the RV life. It's a great thing. Living in an RV park, got plenty of neighbors, having a good old time. Barbecue just about every other night, and have a few choice beverages with the group. It's living life, man.
Yeah,
keep calling in, Joe.
It's like a constant tailgate every day. Put it that way.
Oh, it sounds
How could
gorgeous.
you not love that?
Sounds
Joe,
gorgeous.
Bear Games question of the day today: if one non-baseball Baylor athlete was in a home run derby, who would you pick to win it all?
Man, there was a basketball player by the name of Quincy Acey.
Yep.
Oh,
who
yeah.
was just a huge mammoth, and I want to see a bat in his hands.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to twist the Bear question and throw it at you guys. Who would you pick, non-baseball guy, for your somebody comes out, hits a single, gets a guy on base. Who do you pick for your pinch runner with speed?
Current or former?
Either or. I'll throw it out. It doesn't matter. You can go current and you can go former.
If I'm going former, I'm going Tevin Reese. Dude had absolute jets. Former receiver for Baylor. He was unbelievable in that offense with Bryce Petty, Antoine Goodley. Like he would just go deep, and it was a wrap. I think he's stealing second every single time. Probably goes in standing up.
Oh man, that's really tough for me. I mean, I feel like Mark Patterson's a bit of a cop out. But I feel like Mark Patterson could kick freaking butt on a baseball field.
Got some wheels.
Give me, though, I think I might go, the stride and the agility of Graylin Arnold on the base path and just that grit. I'd like to see it at least. Give me Graylin Arnold. Lock in Graylin Arnold.
Big calves, too. Really big calves.
Big calves. You know what that means.
How about one of those track stars that we've had in the years past?
Oh, yeah. Why did Michael Johnson maybe able to run, if it was a home run trot, give me Michael Johnson, because he was 400, right? Yeah, Michael Johnson 400.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I bet he's got 100 speed, though. He could probably still do it. Akira Nugent, 60-meter hurdles. She's unbelievably fast. Give me her. I mean, I like the thought. Let me give you these, though. Joe, before we get you out of here, Bear Games today, Lion King or Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Oh, Lion King, hands down. Yeah. It's a classic.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Pretty easily. And then Zootopia or Lilo and Stitch?
See, I kind of go back and forth on both of these because I wasn't a huge fan of either, but I'll give it to Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. You watch it back, it has a lot of good humor in it. Like Lilo and Stitch has some humor that now I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was actually a joke.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Hey, Joe,
I do like T-Rex's comment though about how today's society needs to watch Zootopia because I'm all for it.
Because the message,
racism doesn't belong anywhere that I'm around. That's for sure.
Retweet.
Bingo. I love it. Hey, Joe, thanks for your call. Call us again soon.
We'll do it later, fellas.
See you, Joe.
Happy Wednesday. All right. Hey, we were gonna have Bryce Drew on. But tragedy in their basketball program. Did you see that?
I didn't know what happened.
A player for Grand Canyon passed away in a car accident, died in a car accident last night. Yeah, no. So I got to... Now, the reports have not been confirmed by the school yet, but it is up that, hey, I mean, there's a legitimate shot that that they can't confirm. right? But I think they lost one of their star forwards last night in a car accident.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Thoughts and prayers to the whole community. That's absolutely tragic.
No kidding.
Worst phone call to get.
While we hope to get Coach Bryce Drew on the show as soon as we can for you guys, but I know, man, it's tough. So definitely prayers go out for their program and those guys, but. Yeah. Tell you what, man, outside of that, though, and into March Madness, what we've been seeing, I know we got a caller on the line right now, Josh Rugger, who I know is a big Arkansas guy. This guy, he bleeds Razorback red. And there's an opportunity, a shot, that Baylor and Arkansas square off here in the next round in the Elite Eight. Joshua, what you got for us, man? This should be good.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good game. Obviously, Baylor's the better team. If I'm being honest. I'm taking off the rose-colored glasses. Right now, and Baylor is the better team. But I think that's the best possible Elite Eight matchup in this region. Do you think you would agree with that?
I would say so. I think because the style of play that makes it so intriguing for me that both of these teams in the Elite Eight, I mean, you've got the prospect of Alabama, Michigan, but Michigan's just not 100%. Gonzaga and either Oregon or USC is just going to be a blowout in my opinion. And then Loyola, Chicago, and Houston could be okay, but I think Baylor and Arkansas tit for tat and match up so well defensively and have such great guard play. I love that matchup. I think it's a toss-up.
And just the brands, too. You talk about fan bases, talk about brands to be going at it in the Elite Eight. That'd be a whole lot of fun. I think that would be one of the most watched games too.
Sweet Southern Comfort. What do you think, Joshua?
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's the reason I'm going up to Indianapolis this weekend. I think Arkansas is going to beat Oral Roberts. I think Baylor's going to beat Villanova, and I want to see this matchup live. And I think if Baylor wins this game, if they're able to win this Elite Eight game, if they make it that far, I think they win the national title game. I think they got a real shot. I mean, Gonzaga, as tough as they are, but just defense, man. Defense wins championships, as they say. Great guard play and great defense, and they've got it. Tell you, we'll have Pat Bradley on the show later on this week, and then Joe Franklin as well, I think, to talk some a little bit of Arkansas hoops, just in case that game plays. But I want to know, on that note, Joshua, what are the odds that it's Baylor and Arkansas? You think it's just about 80%? That's kind of where I am. As far as who's going to win?
As far as if we'll see that matchup in the Elite Eight.
Oh, I think that's about a 99% possibility. I don't see Baylor losing to Villanova, and I don't see Arkansas losing to Oral Roberts. Obviously, without calling Gillespie for Villanova, I don't see how they can really match up with Baylor. And on the other end, I don't see how Oral Roberts can match up with Arkansas. They already faced each other earlier this year, obviously. But I think the dream dies for both of those teams, and we get to see Baylor, Arkansas.
Yeah, I think the carriage turns back into a pumpkin for both those programs, especially Oral Roberts. But what a story, huh?
Yeah, what a story for the Cinderellas. Hey, Joshua, Bear Games question of the day on the show today. If you could take I'll switch it up for you. One Arkansas, one Razorback that isn't affiliated with the baseball program. So one athlete that didn't play baseball, but you're going to put him in a home run derby and put all your money on him winning it. Which athlete would you take all time?
Man, that's a tough question. I got to go with Corliss Williamson, I think. Big Nasty.
Yep.
I think I would take him. Just a big guy, probably a power hitter. I would put him out there. I'd also take Jake Beckett, former defensive lineman from Arkansas as well. Just some big dudes, I think, that would be able to tank some tacos for the Hogs for sure.
No Peyton Hillis? No Darren McFadden?
Darren McFadden,
you got those two on the board.
Yeah, Darren McFadden would be big.
Darren's a more line drive guy. He's a base hit kind of guy.
Peyton Hillis could do some damage for you.
Peyton Hillis is a monster.
He's going yard for sure.
Monster of a man.
I like those, though. I like it.
That is true.
Joshua, other Bear Games questions today. You like Lion King or the Hunchback of Notre Dame? Dame.
You know what? I'm going to take a different angle. I like Hunchback. And the reason, just because of that kind of gritty tone, Lion King's got a little bit of that, but Hunchback's kind of a unique Disney movie in a way. And, also I really like the songs in that as well. I'm not a big musical guy.
Really?
But I really, really like the songs in Hunchback. I think they're underrated.
Hunchback.
I haven't heard them. I don't know which ones they are. I've never heard them.
You'll be in my heart.
Tarzan.
Oh, shoot. Never mind. Zootopia or Lilo and Stitch? I love the Lilo and Stitch soundtrack.
That's a good one.
Oh, man. I got to go with Lilo. That's my childhood, man.
There you go.
That's my childhood. Zootopia's a great movie, too, but got to go with Lilo.
Good call. Joshua, hey, thanks for calling the show today, man.
Hey, take it easy, Drake. Good luck to Baylor this weekend.
Thanks, man. Let's do it. Let's play a little Arkansas-Baylor action next week.
There it is.
I
I really hope that game happens. Like, as much fun as Oral Roberts is to watch, Arkansas and Baylor
for the Final Four,
just purely for up-tempo purposes, that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. How do you not want to see Arkansas and Baylor, especially Arkansas, escaping the jaws of defeat from one of the most formidable teams in this entire tournament, the Colgate Fighting Raiders? Golly, they had them on the ropes, bro. They had them dancing. They were up 14 in Arkansas, 17-0 run.
When we come back, we're talking spring practice. Football starts today. I'm going to go watch some football today. Yeah. Hey, who's got the best zip on that ball? Who's got the best zip on the ball? I'll be able to tell you tomorrow, folks. When we come back, we're talking football, different positions that we're interested in seeing, and what we think this little spring practice is going to look like. I'm Drake Toll. It's J.D. Pickell. Armstrong Sims is back today.
Back in the cut. The man, the myth, the legend.
And this is Up-Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. The Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kimolki and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55, and 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Auriemma is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach. He was an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. Pickell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Wednesday, folks. How about it? Spring practice starts today. The boys are going to toss the rock. A little bit of pigskin action going on out there on the football field today. I'm going to go.
Mud and dirt and grass. It's the boys of spring.
Yeah, that's the one.
Are you juiced, man? You're going to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Fighting back them butterflies and calling in the air.
Yes, sir, we want the ball.
We're getting copyrighted. We're
100%.
Absolutely getting copyrighted.
It's the last
They're
one,
going to
baby.
kick us off the show. You guys, it's been a pleasure.
Ever.
It has been a pleasure. You know, we're almost 3 months in. We're almost 3 months in. They said we could. They said we're too young. 3 months ago.
And we're 3 months older now.
We are 3 months and 3 months wiser. The show is still very up. It's more up tempo, I would say, today than it was then.
Yeah, we've beat the odds several times. Beat the copyright odds multiple times.
Yeah, copyright police have actually drugged JD out of here multiple times. That's why you leave. Some days you don't even have to walk your dog.
Some days it's just.
There was that 3-day period after your dog died. Dog number 3. After dog number 3 died, where you didn't have to walk your dog, but the FBI came in and drug you away. So we told people you were walking your dog, but you weren't.
Beat the case, baby.
Yeah.
2-0 against the case.
Yeah. You can't catch a case if you beat the case. Mm-hmm. That's what they say. That's what they say.
They always say that.
In Guam. That's what they say.
What you gonna do?
Spring practice today. Obviously, the quarterback battle is A1. Folks want to know, okay, the quarterback, who's going to be the quarterback next year for Baylor? A lot of people speculate that it's Jacob Zeno. He's got that big, tall frame. He just looks like you look at him, you're like, all right, that guy's a quarterback. That guy's a quarterback. On the other side of things, the zip that Blake Shapen has. We've heard about the zip of Blake Shapen, the mobility of Kyron Drones, his ability to throw the deep ball. And then Gary Bohannon's legs. Obviously the best, running quarterback, pro-style quarterback probably out of that group. What do you expect to see from at least the quarterback battle?
Yeah, I think it is Zeno's to lose, right? Like in terms of just pure skills, in terms of what he has throwing the football. I think Zeno's kind of the guy everyone's looking at like, okay, he's probably the leader in the clubhouse right now. But it's a completely new system. New coordinators, new season. Like, they're going to go and let these guys compete, I think, and just let them have it out. Blake Shapen is the guy that excites me the most, purely because I think his comp, when I watch him on film, is Zach Wilson. You see the ball just jump out of his hand. Like, he is a guy that can make plays with his feet. He's not necessarily a dual threat exactly. He's a great athlete, but his game, his money is made throwing the football. And so I would love to see what he's going to do in this new offense, an offense that a year ago had Zach Wilson, that developed Zach Wilson as the player that he was and is going to be in the NFL. So all things considered, I think it's Zeno's to lose, but Shapen is the guy that we have heard buzz about. I mean, really since the season ended. Even during the season, we're saying, hey, this kid who had offers at USC, he's a dual sport athlete. Like, he's been the buzz for a long time. So Zeno, the one to watch, I think, in terms of leader in the clubhouse, like I mentioned, but Shapen, to me, it's a 2-horse race.
You think Zeno or Shapen?
I think it's Zeno or Shapen.
I feel like it's a March Madness bracket.
Right?
It feels like a March Madness bracket. You just have your Final Four. and then who's going to win your championship. I don't know right now. You know, we hear so much, but I haven't yet seen from any of these guys. And I want to go in and I want to see from each of these guys individually what makes them tick. Outside of the quarterback position, obviously the line is a huge question right now. How good is Baylor's offensive line going to be next year? Even defensive line. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get. It wasn't very good this past season. You got to upgrade that. Do you have almost more questions with the defensive line than you do the offensive now?
I don't, just because Baylor was, in a lot of games, a quarterback play. I don't know if you were a quarterback, but you were a quarterback play and an offensive line away from winning that football game. I mean, we saw multiple times Brewer's back there, has half a second, and he's running for his life.
Brewer.
And I mean, Brewer,
what a name.
I hardly know her.
What a
blast
name.
from the past. But I mean, the fact this offensive line will, I think, get a chance to play through mistakes is going to be enormous. We saw guys getting holding penalties, jump off sides, and you're out of the game. You can't do that in a football game. You can't get pulled after one mistake. You have to be able to settle in, get in a rhythm, especially the offensive line position where it's such a unit effort. Like, you can have one guy play well, but if four other guys don't do their job, you know, you're fresh out of luck. So I'm excited for them to get more continuity during the game and also have this group play together for a whole season, have that under their belt. I think that's going to be much, much improved this year and hopefully commit to the run game some more to allow them to get into the rhythm and to have more confidence.
How weird is it going to be not seeing Charlie Brewer on a Baylor sideline?
Oh, gosh.
I've already seen some of the posts on Instagram where he's saying happy birthday to his teammates or he's wearing his Utah jersey, and it hurts a little bit, you know?
It feels wrong.
Why do I miss him?
It just feels so wrong because he just left on such weird terms. It was like, we should see other people, and then he actually saw somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, hey, let's take a break, and then he now has like a new
family
squeeze. I think I tweeted at G-Dub. G-Dub tweeted at us. He was like, hey, man, it's weird seeing Charlie in other colors. And the metaphor I gave him was, it's like seeing somebody else playing with your dog, like, or seeing your dog with another kid. Like, it's wrong. It doesn't feel all the way right. But all things considered, he's got a chance to win that job at Utah and have a lot of success in the Pac-12 this year.
Baylor's offense in 2020 was a Nissan Maxima, a 2016
Golly.
Nissan Maxima. And Charlie Brewer was under the hood, and it just didn't pan out.
Didn't go.
And it's weird not having him, but now you got a quarterback battle. How about the running back game?
Yeah. I want to see
Quaylon Jones.
I mean, they just have so many flavors of running back. You got Ebner, who can kind of do what they asked
No
Algier to do
Squirrel,
at BYU. No Squirrel, which is heartbreaking. Hope he gets healthy because he was the leading rusher for Baylor a year ago with like 300-400 yards, wasn't he?
Yeah, he looked really good for a while.
Unbelievable. So I want to see Quaylon get a chance to get downhill. Like, we never saw a running back outside of Squirrel Williams. I think it was that Kansas State game. No, excuse me, TCU maybe? It was TCU. We saw him get into kind of a rhythm, but yeah, man, I just want to see them just commit to the run because you have a lot of talent at that running back position, and running back is such a big deal to get into a rhythm during the game. I mean, those first 2-3 carries, you're still getting your feet under you. You're trying to figure out, you know, how they're going to try and tackle you, whether they're going high, they're going low. So, I want to see them commit to the run game. Pick a guy, pick maybe two guys, like we saw Lovett and Ebner in the 2019 Sugar Bowl season. So, I mean, Quaylon Jones and Ebner, that's a dirty 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Dirty 1-2 punch.
I would say my biggest question when it comes coaching staff, because that's going to be a big thing up there. Like, what's this coaching staff like? I vividly remember the first press conference where I heard Larry Fedora speak, and I just had so many questions. Like, this guy can't be being for real, right? Like, this can't like translate to how he actually coaches on the football field. My biggest question, and I think, granted, the videos show that it's working out and it's going well, but I want to know, Vic Valoria, how big are these boys really? In real life, in person, how big are these boys really?
We're going to find out. Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that when you come back in tomorrow after seeing these guys up close and personal. Like, and it's funny because I think across the board, most teams, especially in the Big 12, the size and strength is going to be roughly the same from program to program. Now, mentality, where you're strong in the trenches, that I think differs from program to program. And so hopefully Vic Valoria will bring a new mentality to these trenches, in my opinion.
All right. Spring practice today. I'll come back with a report tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk to Grayson tomorrow about a little bit of what he sees as well. And we'll see Grayson here in about a half hour. So Grayson comes on for the big board. He's going to talk to us about what he is looking for in today's spring practice. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong, Sims. This, all of it right here from 11 to 2 is Up Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kimolki and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55, and 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Ariyama is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach, who is an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84 and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrapped fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrapped fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
All right, something happened yesterday. So good. Something happened yesterday that we must address. And I didn't want to have to address this, but this came to our attention via an anonymous source. And I think it's time that, maybe this happened Monday. It happened sometime.
I truthfully didn't know. I didn't even know that it happened until we got a call.
I don't know.
Really?
But I haven't.
And it's, JD, you've got some splaining to do. Let's roll the clip.
It's warranted.
Roll the clip.
Now, did he just throw up
That means
like colors of
99% of
uniform?
brackets are better than his.
Wow.
Yeah. That's his real
JD's,
bracket.
I looked through JD's bracket. It is terrible. So much so that it's so bad that he should be suspended from the show for like 2 or 3 days.
Maybe he was wearing his sunglasses in a dark room or something.
To go watch basketball and realize basketball is the one where the guys dribble the ball and throw it through the hoop. I don't know if they teach that at Cornell. I'm not sure. He must have missed it, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing great, but
yeah, I haven't looked at all because remember I said that I picked a lot of the favorites.
Dude, that is so good. That is really
the
good.
video glitch there. Sorry.
Like in all honesty, like they are. I want to say this right off the bat. Like they are tremendous at what they do. So I want to just preface this whole conversation with that. That like this show, Up Tempo, myself, Drake Armstrong, we all have tremendous respect for them. They're phenomenal.
How do you respond?
Also, so cool that Smokey likes the glasses. Like that's awesome. He just said right off the bat. He started that. He said, "Hey, I love the glasses." I was like, "Smokey, thank you." But yeah, I mean, truthfully, I didn't even know that Paul made a bracket. So that's cool that he looked through mine. I really appreciate that. Like, that is phenomenal that we are both intently watching my bracket. So first, we'll start there. Thank you. Second, completely understandable why Paul wouldn't know what they teach at Cornell. Because Paul actually would have no way of knowing what they teach at Cornell, seeing as he did not go to school there. So that also makes a whole lot of sense. But to clear it up for you, Paul, they do not teach bracketology at Cornell. I'm sure Florida State, maybe they taught something along those lines. But again, Florida State, great school, not a knock. Third portion of that, which was very interesting to me, I was very grateful that Paul broke down how they throw it through the hoop and the ins and outs of basketball. Now, the part of that is, I know that was 100% his observation because I don't think Paul has actually ever played a competitive sport. So, all things considered, this is a lot to work with, really insightful stuff. And I'm excited. Also worth noting, he and I, because I did actually find that Paul made a bracket, looked through it, and I think we have the same amount of teams in the Sweet 16, both 6 teams from what I understand from my last count. But no, I mean, hats off. Again, love their show. They do a great job. And that was a whole lot of fun. I appreciate him breaking it all down for me, though. That was good stuff.
Wow.
What good stuff.
We've done crossovers with them. Those guys are a hoot and a half. Those guys are flipping hoot and a half. And geez, I just couldn't. When I was listening to the show yesterday, and then an anonymous source was like, "Guys, you hear them talking about JD's bracket?"
I felt bad because they said Craig came. I was like, Craig didn't say anything. Craig was just listening. But that was funny. I mean, good stuff.
That is good.
All in good fun.
My bracket is 10th out of the SicEm365 bracket pool. And then JD is 11th.
Yes, sir.
So just a couple of points, just 10 points behind me.
Marathon, not a sprint. Marathon, not a sprint.
Paul is 30 points ahead of you, 20 points ahead of me.
There you go, Paul.
It is, I think Cole is the one that's doing the very best out of everybody.
Well, because Paul took a class on it. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't offer that at my school.
That's true. They didn't offer
know.
that
Like
at Cornell.
I would have if I had known, but they didn't offer it.
So yeah, but hey, thank you for addressing that because a lot of folks wanted to know your thoughts and how you felt about that. And that's, God, man,
A lot of folks.
Wow, that's awesome.
We need to get Smokey a pair of glasses though, because I could tell that he needs a pair
for the afternoon. I'm trying to find. Man, I didn't know there's a media hub for the NCAA tournament. Green and blank game today. You want to lead it?
Green and blank game, sure. Let's rock and roll.
Really, you want to lead
Let's
it?
rock and roll.
Okay, go.
First word, breaking.
Oh, easy. Armstrong, do you have yours? Okay, I got mine. Mine is bad.
I was also bad.
News.
Oh, breaking news.
Okay,
Very
that's
good. Nice.
That's good.
Well done.
That's
Well
good.
done.
Here we go. Next one.
You're just thinking this.
Fish.
It's just on the fly.
This is all off the top of the dome.
Oh, fish is easy. Fish is easy.
Okay.
What you got?
Fish fry.
Fish sticks.
We're on the same page
Hey,
today.
baby.
Fish
Not
sticks.
on the
China
same page.
Spring.
Fish
Born and
sticks. I
raised.
love it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump to the very next one, which is, of course, the one that I had planned being Jack.
Oh, I got mine.
I got one.
In the box.
Jack Squat.
Jack Harlow, the rapper out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's hot right now.
Wow.
The 3 to 6 guys
Okay.
love him as well. I know they're big fans of Jack Harlow. Next one, diet.
Oh, easy. Oh, we're going to say the same thing. Coke.
Dr. Pepper.
I said soda. We're all, we danced around it. We danced around it. Last one, dance.
I got mine.
I've got Dance Revolution.
That was good. That's a good one.
I got dance hall.
I have dance marathon. Not sure why. I think I've seen that before. Never actually seen a dance marathon, but I've seen that on different advertisements. Dance marathon. Or you just keep dancing and dancing. Do we need more?
Yeah, one more.
Zoo.
Oh. Topia?
I was going to say Topia.
Lander.
Hey!
There we go. That's
Very
good.
nicely done. Very nicely done. All right, Drake Toll, Armstrong. Wait a second. I got to validate my account?
Are we going to get in trouble for what we said about 3 to 6?
That's what I was doing. I was validating my account.
They came at you on the air.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's the thing.
And all again fun.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to start anything.
But
will we finish something? Absolutely. We can finish it.
Yeah,
100%.
you didn't start anything.
Okay.
They did come after you.
They came after you.
No,
on the air.
hey.
They may respond.
Come after me. I'm a man.
I may play the clip
40.
for them and have them respond.
Yeah, I would love to hear their rebuttal. If there
oh my
is
gosh, this should be an ongoing thing.
It needs to be.
Oh, geez. Drake Toll, J.D. Pickell, Armstrong Sims. When we come back, Evan Miyakawa joins the show. What just happened? Evan Miyakawa joins the show. This is Up-Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. The Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kimolki and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55. And 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Ariyama is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach, who is an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Bird Culture Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culture Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culture Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new, pre-owned Bird Culture Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership. Online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culture Ford. The
holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Diner guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back to the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Wednesday, folks. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Armstrong Sims, Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims, back here in the Up-Tempo studio, talking all things college basketball today on the men's and women's side, and it's spring practice starts today, too. It's football season as well. And here to join us, help us break down the bracket a little bit further, a little bit more in depth, taking us matchup with a couple of these big games that are coming up, too. Evan Miyakawa joining the show. Evan, thanks for coming on today.
I'm happy to be on. We've got a tournament rolling, and that is a huge improvement from last year, so I'm just soaking it all in.
Evan, we're a week into this tournament now, and, I mean, upsets galore. One of the guys in the afternoon show, Craig on the afternoon show, mentioned yesterday, he said, look, I haven't even looked at my bracket since the tournament started. He said, I picked almost all favorites, and none of the favorites are winning right now. What do you make of the madness that is March this year?
It's been awesome, and I've loved seeing all of these, middle to lower seeded teams doing so well, putting on good fights. So many good games, obviously lots of great upsets. There's just so many you can't even really count them at this point. Setting records for, the highest seed total ever in the Sweet 16. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable to me how many teams. I mean, in a year like this, we thought, okay, the great head coaches, the great experienced teams, the ones that are going to win. So your Wisconsin-esque teams that are older and have a head coach that's experienced, or your teams like Texas with NBA talent that's been there. But no, those teams are already gone. They're gone home. What was maybe the biggest surprise for you out of round 1 or 2?
I think for me, my attention is drawn to the 2 biggest upsets, being Oral Roberts not only winning 1 but 2 games, but then also Abilene Christian beating Texas. Both those games to me were really awesome. It's exactly what I want to see in March. And I think with the lack of, top-tier blue blood talent this year, there's just been a little bit more room for teams that are really well coached, that are under the radar, that have good game plans to come in and play a team like, Oral Roberts playing Ohio State, who Ohio State has been overperforming all season, and they certainly deserve their seed, but compare them to other teams on the 2 line, even in previous years, and there was room for an upset there, and Oral Roberts took advantage of it. So, and then you flip over to Abilene Christian being Texas, just putting on a defensive clinic. I mean, the way that they forced turnovers in that game and crashed the boards without shooting over 30% from the field, mind-boggling.
How about the analytics from those two games, Evan? I'm sure you've looked at those, crunching numbers from ACU's win and then Oral Roberts' trip to the Sweet 16. I mean, could you have ever expected this with the way the analytics shook out?
I mean, it's certainly always a possibility, and I think it's become slightly more that way in recent years with worse-seeded teams doing slightly better. Oral Roberts obviously pulling off a feat that no 15 seed has done since Florida Gulf Coast. And I think they have a legitimate chance to get to an Elite Eight, which is crazy to say, but they've got the team to do it. And you flip over to the other side there, Abilene Christian, struggled against UCLA, but their game against Texas, it's so hard to predict games in this tournament. And, my bracket certainly isn't the best by any means, but that was the one first round game, that upset that I thought had a legitimate chance of happening that no one really saw coming. I was telling people all day on Saturday, Abilene Christian's going to beat Texas, and sure enough, they did in the most wild way. I've never seen a box score look as weird as that one did, but they pulled it off. That was really awesome for them. So, certainly some upsets there, but I mean, given the way this year has gone, can we really be surprised?
Evan, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here a little bit too with this question. I'm not sure, what you've seen, but when it comes to the teams that are still alive, do you feel like from an analytics standpoint, maybe it's more offensive teams that are having success this year, or is it defense that's going to run the table and has run the table so far?
I think it's some of both. I don't think we're going to see, teams in the national championship get there just because of good offenses. I think the factor for me that's a larger part of it is just teams that have been consistently good all year and have had the pieces all year, and that people haven't really seen as underperformed or overperformed. I mean, like a team like Ohio State, but you've got your Gonzaga and your Baylor. Obviously, they've been a tier above everyone else all season. Baylor taking a slight dip because of COVID, but I think they're back to pre-COVID form. And then even a team like Michigan, even without one of their best players in Isaiah Livers, they've been great all season long. They're the only team left from their conference, but they're looking strong. And then, a team like Alabama and Houston, both teams that have been in the top 10 all season long. I think Houston, I said this before the tournament started, kind of underrated just given the conference they play in, but they've been solid. So those teams that have just been consistent all year long, they're still there, and that to me is an important piece.
With this Baylor squad, you said it, and we see it, the eye test. They passed that. They look like they're just as good now as they were a month ago, pre-COVID pause. I say a month, it's not been about a month and a half. Do the analytics back that up? Are their numbers back to where they were as a team right now?
Yeah, absolutely, especially on the defensive end. I mean, I think so much of Baylor rides on their three-point shooting, and they're the best in the country at that. But so much of three-point shooting comes down to luck, and I think some of those shots just weren't falling for them towards the end of the regular season. But it seems like they're back near there. But defensively, they really can take control. And I think we're starting to even see a defense that kind of resembles a bit of what they had last year when they were arguably the top defensive team in the country. Obviously they don't have a guy like Freddie Gillespie on the inside this year, but the way that they were able to lock down Wisconsin after Wisconsin blew the doors off North Carolina, to me, that was the most important thing for the Bears team. I think if they are locked in defensively, they can beat any team regardless of whether they're shooting, 45% from three. So that was a huge key for me in their win against Wisconsin. Beyond that, any given two or three guys are going to have a good night and others are just going to have an okay night, but that's all Baylor needs to get past teams. So I think they're looking pretty good.
Evan, before we get too much further into the analytics of it all, I want to know, and I think we alluded to this on last week's show when we had you on, when it comes to being a guy who's enrolled at Baylor right now, who has that BU tie, what is that like? Do you feel just a little bit more partial to the Bears?
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally on board with the Bears. I'm cheering for them hard. As I said last week, or previously, I'm a Butler Bulldogs fan, but they're not in the tournament this year. So I'm really pulling hard for Baylor, and they're obviously such a fun team to watch. So I'm a huge Bears fan, and obviously I got to stay impartial when I'm doing my analytics, at a national level. And so in that regard, I think I'm fair and okay there, but I'm really locked in. And and from an analytics perspective too, I mean, I've got them at having about a 60% chance of making the Final Four. So that could be higher or lower than what some people think, but but they're 9-point favorite versus Villanova, 6% chance to play to beat them. And then they're likely going to play Arkansas, and it's around the same chance of beating them as well. So their path is looking pretty good. I think a lot of people identified that second round matchup versus either North Carolina or Houston as being potentially their biggest hurdle, especially as they're warming into the tournament. They got past that with ease, so I think they're looking strong.
I love it, Evan. So and Hinkle Fieldhouse, the Magic. Thank you for sharing that with us here for a little bit, and Baylor getting to play there in their last couple of games. With this squad and where they were against Wisconsin, coming into the Villanova game, what are some of the hard numbers that you see, factors in this Nova game that point toward either A, Baylor winning with ease, or B, maybe Baylor struggling?
I think the biggest challenge Villanova brings, besides being so well coached, Jay Wright is an incredible coach. And I think a lot of people picked against them early in this tournament to lose to Winthrop. I just couldn't. Watching a lot of the Big East, being a Butler fan, Jay Wright just gets it done in March, and that's how it happens. With that being said, their team is going to be overmatched by Baylor. Now, they have a really good squad, but they're losing. They don't have arguably their most key player in Colin Gillespie. And I think just their ceiling in terms of pure talent and what they have on the roster, it's just lacking. Now, with that being said, Villanova has always been a team that has done really well at spreading teams out and shooting the three ball. And we saw that already. They had a game where they hit 15 of 30 from deep. So, and that is very similar to the way that Baylor plays. So that could be really interesting. If Baylor has an off night and Villanova's hot from three, if Baylor can't contain them, that could certainly bring issues. But like I said, I think Baylor's top 3 or 4 players are arguably better than anyone on their team. Now, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, he's the best player on their team. He's had a great, great tournament so far. He's had 18 points and 22 points in those 2 games. So, he's going to be a force. But I just think, from top to bottom, Baylor's just a better squad and obviously well coached as well. So I give Baylor the edge.
Evan, you look across the way and you see a team like Arkansas that I know you alluded to them beating Oral Roberts. I believe it'll happen too. Mine's not an analytics standpoint. It's just being a basketball fan. I think Arkansas gets that one done. A Baylor-Arkansas matchup. You said, hey, that is one in which Baylor likely favored by 9 or so, somewhere in that range. Does that Arkansas team scare you at all when Baylor's squaring off with them in the Elite Eight? Say that happens.
I don't think Arkansas is going to present anything super different than some of the best teams in the Big 12 that Baylor has faced. So I don't think it'll be a unique challenge in that sense. Arkansas loves to push the pace. They're top 10, top 15 in tempo. So that's certainly something that, Baylor in general likes to slow down the pace a little bit. Maybe not as much this year, but that's in general been their style. And there's not a lot of Big 12 teams that really like to do that. But Arkansas is certainly one of those. So that could throw a new wrinkle. I was actually diving into Arkansas's numbers recently, and it seems like they don't really perform any better whether they play at a faster or slower pace. So I don't really think that's something that Baylor has to be super worried about there. But, they've got a lot of notable players. The one that sticks out to me is IU transfer Justin Smith. He was out for part of the year, but he's been a huge force on their team at both ends of the court. So certainly a team that's worthy of that 3 seed and, could always present a challenge, but nothing I think that's going to be out of the ordinary for what Baylor's already seen this year.
Evan, looking at the Midwest right now and the teams that are left, you got Loyola Chicago, Oregon State. Who could have seen Oregon State coming? On the other side of that, the Houston matchup with Syracuse. Of those 4 teams, if Baylor's to make it to the Final Four, they've got to play one of those 4. Who do you like out of that pod to square off against the Bears in the national semifinal?
I think it's between Houston and Loyola for me as to most likely to get to the Final Four. They both are very different. They both are very, very good defensively, and I think either one could present Baylor with challenges. I think, at some point recently, Loyola Chicago was the number 1 defensive team in the country per KenPom. Similar on my side as well, and Houston also very, very good defensively, and they just like to grind it out. Both teams do. We saw the way that Loyola punished Illinois on Sunday, the way that they ran the ball through. Cam Krutwig is kind of like a point center almost. He would grab the ball at the top of the arc. People would run action around him, and he would distribute or get to the bucket himself. That's a really unique look. So I think either will present challenges. I would expect either way that it would be very much a grinded out affair, and I think could resemble some Baylor games we saw more last year when they were, even slower in tempo and just really like to grind opponents defensively. So I think it could be a low scoring affair, certainly, either way, but I still think Baylor would be comfortably favored in either of those games.
Looking across the way at the East region, I mean, Alabama obviously has had a great tournament, and it looks as though they're going to be the ones that make it out of there and go to the Final Four. That said, with Michigan's injury, Michigan's still Michigan. Florida State's been playing well. UCLA has that Cinderella mark on their name. Who do you like to make the Final Four out of the East quadrant?
Last week, I identified the East region as being the most up for grabs, and I think of all the regions, that's the one that's went most according to plan. So you just can never quite predict these things. I actually had UCLA in my Sweet 16 when I was picking my bracket. As I said, I picked Abilene Christian to beat Texas, and then I just picked UCLA to advance after that. So that's not really a huge surprise to me there, although they've not faced a team like Alabama so far. Alabama was my Final Four pick and still is. They routed Maryland, and they showed exactly what they can do when they just overwhelm you with the number of efficient shots that they get and their tempo. This looked as good as Alabama has looked all year. I think at the height of their regular season, they were kind of at this level. So to me, they look like the favorite. And that FSU-Michigan game is kind of a toss-up to me. I think Michigan will be favored, but Florida State just provides so many challenges in how athletic they are, even starting with their point guard, a super tall athletic guy in Scotty Barnes. So to me, I think it's kind of a toss-up in that game, but I would take Alabama as the clear favorite to get to the Final Four, and they could certainly challenge a Gonzaga if they end up meeting them there. It'll be the first big challenge I think that Gonzaga will face.
With the Zags, you said 60% chance that Baylor ends up making the Final Four. Where is Gonzaga right now? Do you like them in being the national semi?
Oh, yeah, it's even higher. I think they would be shocked at this point if they didn't get there. Creighton will be a good offensive team, but as we saw in Gonzaga's game versus Oklahoma, just because you can keep up with them offensively does not mean you can slow them down defensively. Oklahoma just didn't have what it took, despite some guys like Austin Reeves playing out of their minds good. They still lost by double digits, close to 20 points. So Gonzaga is just so hard to contain. They have so many different good guys, and the way that they're coached, the way they run their offense, it's just unstoppable. And they have really hunkered down on the defensive end as well, more so than in previous seasons. So they're just such a challenge. I think a team like USC could provide an interesting wrinkle if they were to play them in the Elite Eight, just given what they have inside with Evan Mobley and some of their guard play, and certainly the way that they just ran Kansas out of the gym. But I still don't think Gonzaga will be maybe even they'll still be a double-digit favorite probably in that game. So, yeah, Gonzaga could lose. It's the tournament. Anything can happen, but I just don't see it happening.
It's certainly unbelievable to me that Gonzaga's toughest challenge now before the Final Four is going to be a 5 seed, and that's Creighton here. That they cannot play a better team seed-wise until the Final Four past USC and Oregon. But I guess that's just the way it shakes out, especially when there are so many upsets in that West region. With that Final Four, though, Evan, I mean, you've kind of stuck to that same song with your Bama, Gonzaga, and Baylor. I mean, who do you like? Is it still a Baylor-Gonzaga field, right? Baylor-Gonzaga or the field right now?
Yeah, at this point, I think I would certainly take that, just given that they've passed their challenges so far. I do think Alabama is kind of getting near that tier in my mind of teams that could really challenge them. I would expect if Alabama were to play Gonzaga and maybe even beat them and play Baylor, I think either of those games would predict it to be much closer. And if Alabama plays as well as they did against Maryland, I think they could beat anybody in the country. So I certainly think they're a big threat. I don't really think any other team is quite on their level in terms of being able to take the top off of teams. But, anything can happen at this point. I'm interested to see how Houston does against Syracuse. That to me is a really intriguing game. Syracuse, it's really hard to go against Jim Boeheim in March, especially when they're the underdog. And the way that they deployed their zone in their first 2 games was really, really, really good. And Buddy Boeheim is playing as well as anybody in the country right now. Just quite a story there. So if Houston gets by Syracuse with relative ease, I think they're going to be a really challenging game for Baylor, potentially in the Final Four. So I think that's a big litmus test for Houston, really. So we'll see what happens in that region.
I love it. Evan, last question here for you. You said 60% confidence that Baylor goes to the Final Four. What's your confidence level that Baylor wins a national championship right now?
I don't have that number right in front of me, but I think if I had to just kind of guess off the top of my head, I would say 25%. Which, again, that's pretty good for any team at this given point, So you still got to win 4 more games to get there. But, I see them being the favorite to get to the national title from that right side of the bracket. And then anything can happen at that point. So
I love it. 25% I'll certainly take without a doubt. Then Bear Games questions of the day for you. And I'll kind of leave it open to interpretation for you. I want to know, if one player, non-baseball player from your favorite school, so say Butler in this situation for you, could compete in a home run derby and you put money on them to win it, who would it be?
So we're talking college player here?
College player.
Home run derby. You know what? I think I would take someone like, I'm thinking a guy that is athletic, obviously, but also a multi-sport talent. And the guy I think of that at a national level in college basketball right now is Jalen Suggs for Gonzaga. He was a QB in high school, and we've seen a lot of his throwing talent. So wouldn't be shocked if he can also really rip it, on the baseball diamond. So I'm going to take Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga.
Funny you say that. I think Mark Vidal would hit quite a few more home runs than Jalen Suggs. I'm gonna have to just the bulk of the man. But I'll tell you what, Evan, I'll accept it. All right.
Sounds good. Yeah. I should have thought of Mark. He would be a good pick for that as well.
And then before we let you get out of here. Other Bear Games question today. Zootopia. We got two of these movie madness matchups. Zootopia or Lilo and Stitch?
I will be honest with you. I have not seen Zootopia. And I've seen Lilo and Stitch once, and it was not when I was a child. My wife actually showed it to me within the last year because I didn't grow up on as much Disney as other people. But it was a great movie, so I guess I got to go with the one I've seen.
Lock in Lilo and Stitch. Lion King or Hunchback of Notre Dame?
I'm going to go with Lion King, just a classic.
Absolutely. Evan Miyakawa, thanks so much for giving us your expert opinion on not just Disney movies, but also college basketball. Evan Miyakawa, evanmiya.com. All the analytics you run are spectacular. We're big fans of that here at the show, and always big fans of having you on.
Thanks, guys. I love being on the show.
Sweet. Thanks again, Evan. That was Evan Miyakawa of evanmiya.com. Find him at evanmiya on Twitter. And he's got really, really top-notch analytics when it comes to college basketball. Really helpful when it comes to making your picks, building your brackets the rest of the way. If you're doing some of those challenges where you can repick and just, second chance brackets. How about this, though? When we come back today, opening day of spring practice, Baylor hits the field. Coach Dave Aranda and company for the first time with this new offensive staff on the spring practice field with his players. We got coverage of that and recruiting coverage from Grayson Gruntafer on the big board coming up after this. This is Up Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. The Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kimolki and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55. And 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Auriemma is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach, who is an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Julia Roberts, Julia Rob.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. It is Wednesday, folks. The big board today, talking all things Baylor football, Baylor recruiting with Grayson Gruendaver of SicEm365. Grayson, it is the day, the long-awaited day in which football comes back to Baylor. Jeff Grimes and company, their very first time to step out there on a spring field with Baylor. What are you looking forward to today?
Man, everything. I mean, is it fair to say everything? We've been waiting for a whole year now to go out on the field and actually be able to see some things in person, get to talk to these coaches in person. I know Craig mentioned today he hasn't seen Dave Aranda in person since he was introduced as Baylor's next head coach. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I'm really excited for that, and of course excited to just get football rolling, man. I mean, spring ball, it doesn't get much better than that.
Just to see it, man. I mean, the questions, so many questions out there about these quarterbacks. Who's got the best zip? You know, who's going to be the guy coming out of spring practice that Baylor has as their front runner going into the fall? I mean, starting there, is that who you're looking for today? Is which quarterback just goes out and looks great?
Yeah, I am. And I mean, I've been pretty I feel like I've been pretty adamant that I do think Jacob Zeno's probably going to be the quarterback at the end of this. And I mean, that's just an opinion. Of course, I've heard things, sure. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is an open competition for the first time since 2018. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that Baylor is in a good spot at the quarterback position. But I think you're right. My eyes, when I walk in there, the first thing I'm going to look at is, who's spinning the ball really well, who's got the arm strength, who's built their body. I'm excited to see, based on certain videos, we know how big Gary is. Based on some videos, Jacob Zeno looks like he's put on a ton of weight. Blake Shapen, I'm curious to see how he's developed and grown, because last year he looked just like Charlie Brewer. Like, they looked kind of like duplicates on the field, so excited to see his growth as well. And, of course, Kyron Drones, too, the youngster out there who is going to try to prove himself as a possible starter as a true freshman, which would be pretty crazy if he was able to make that step.
I mean, I love Kyron Drones. And it feels like it's the Final Four. I was telling JD, you can just really throw a name out there and just, it's possible.
You can make a statement for anyone. Right. You sure can. You definitely can make an argument. I do feel like percentages and odds favor some guys over others. I find it highly unlikely that Kyron Drones is starter, but if he is, then that means he just absolutely took off during spring ball. I mean, and learned the system and learned how to be a college athlete, which is not easy, as a freshman. But his early enrolling, the fact that he early enrolled, it gives him a shot, no doubt.
So with this squad, quarterback position obviously is going to be a tight battle. Today you're going to see, for the first time, this coaching staff come out. I got to know, where are your biggest questions? I mean, which part of the coaching staff you're saying, all right, this guy's good. He's got the resume, but, man, I want to see his position guys back it up.
Yeah, I think it might be the guy with probably the second toughest job, because Eric Mateos has the toughest job with the offensive line. There's no doubt about it. But Sean Bell has a real big task trying to figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback. He doesn't have a room with, veteran guys who've played a ton of snaps. I mean, Gary Bohannon's played the most snaps, and, most of those snaps have not really been major quality snaps. I mean, they're just kind of garbage time and then a couple here and there against Oklahoma. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's all eyes are going to be on him, and he's got a big decision to make. And also, but beyond the decision, he's got just developing to do. He's got to develop these guys into the players that Jeff Grimes needs them to be in the system. And of course, tons of questions are going to be about Jeff Grimes as well, just the system that he's going to install. But, I have less questions about the true position he's coaching, tight ends. I feel pretty good about that position compared to, some of the other guys with Bell and Mateos with the quarterbacks and offensive line respectively.
How are you feeling when it comes to Grimes' system and how much the offense will be installed in the spring? How much will we see as fans, members of the media, of what Jeff Grimes is going to put on the field in the fall?
Yeah, well, I mean, they had football school during, the, past month or two, and so they were able to install some things, but it's very different going through trying to learn offense without a football and without pads on, without really getting a feel for it. So I think they'll be able to get a lot done, though, because they do have a basic knowledge of the playbook, and now you just go out there and you just got to put it on the field. Now, two very different things, because when you get out on the field and if the offensive line starts giving up sacks left and right, your offense is obviously going to have to change. So I think they'll get quite a bit done. I think they're going to install as much as they can and put as much on their quarterbacks and their offensive line as possible, because, frankly, they need to figure out who really is the guys that they need to play going into the fall.
Grayson, we talked all about positions and who we're looking for this spring. Who's going to be who are the guys to look for to say, hey, is it put up or shut up for most of these guys? Offensive line is one of those. And you're going to get a first taste today of really what we'll see in the fall. And granted, the transfer portal is still open with FCS season going on. But outside of offensive line, you've mentioned defensive line. We've talked about quarterbacks. There are questions there. Where are the other positions? I mean, is it running back that you've got questions? Is it how well have these receivers grown up and developed? What are you looking for the most outside of maybe the top three positions we've talked about?
Yeah, so actually I want to move to defensive backs because I love the starters they have. JT Woods, Christian Morgan, Raleigh Tejada, Kalen Barnes. You got your starters, but who in the world are going to be the backups for those guys? Honestly, I don't think that anyone has a clear answer as of today who those backup 4 guys are going to be. You have Jaron McVay, a walk-on who's now on scholarship, of course, has played quite a few reps at safety. But you also have young guys that are, hungry and trying to earn roles. Devin Neal is one. Devin Lemire, the early enrollee, maybe he comes in and surprises people. Al Walcott, who was in Dave Aranda's first recruiting class. There's guys out there at the safety position to definitely watch. Is Brandon White going to take that step up? And then, of course, at cornerback, Chateau Reed is a guy to definitely keep an eye on, I would say. I think, it's really interesting because Mark Milton played a lot as the backup last year. But I don't really, watching him, he had good moments, then bad moments. It was very inconsistent. So can he take a step up, or will he get passed by a guy like AJ McCarty, a few classes ago? So that's a huge question mark. The backups for the defensive back position, you can't just have a starting group. You have to have depth at every position. And that's definitely one that I'm keyed in on. Of course, you could talk about wide receivers as well. There's question marks there. And, who's going to step to the plate? Is Jalen Ellis really going to take that step to being a starting wide receiver? Or will it be RJ Sneed, Tyquan Thornton, and, Drew Estrada? Will it hold serve? Or will one of these other guys come in and really try to compete for playing time and really put their name in the mix?
How do you feel? I alluded to it a second ago. The running back position, we probably won't see Squirrel Williams back for this season. And that opens it up. Quaylon Jones. Could Quaylon Jones be the A1 guy that shows up and ends up being Baylor's, go-to back this year? There are questions like that all around. What do you see out of the running back position?
Yeah, I'd heard a lot of things, last year, and when the year was going on, that Quaylon Jones was the most talented running back on the roster, even with John Lovett and Treston Ebner there. And I truly think that Quaylon Jones is going to be the John Lovett of this offense, the up the middle grinder, because Treston Ebner does not need to get, 20 carries a game. Baylor doesn't need him for that. Baylor needs him to get 10 to 15 touches a game and get real quality touches and those explosive plays, and not have him, get hit in the middle where he's really struggled to stay healthy when he's getting hit in the middle of the offensive line. So I think Quaylon's going to be that guy. He's massive. If you've seen pictures, he is just huge. Ran at 4.49 in high school. I know a lot of people gave him the comp of Sewo out of TCU. Just massive dude who you throw him in the weight room. He's just a physical specimen, and no one wants to tackle guys like that. And you get into the fourth quarter of games, he's going to be a problem. But I will say, having those two guys is great, but I also think it'd be a disservice to not say, Jonah White showed out against Oklahoma last year. His ability as a pass catcher. Tay McWilliams had times where he played well, especially against Texas Tech as that 1B to Quaylon's 1A in that game. So I think those two guys will get reps as well, but I do think at the end of the day, Quaylon Jones will be the guy who gets most of those carries up the middle.
Talking about separation, the receiver position, you said there's a couple questions there. Who's your A1, A2? Who are those guys you look at and you say, okay, it's got to be them this season. If they don't break out or they don't star, then this offense is going to struggle.
Well, okay, if it's going to be put like that, then Tyquan Thornton is at the very top of that list. The talent is there. We've seen it. But he has to put it on the field again, because last year was frankly a no-show. It just did not happen for him. Now, it wasn't all his fault by any means. The offense in general struggled. But if he can get back to what he was as a sophomore, but really show that he's taken a step up to being that number one type receiver, that would be huge. You know what you're going to get from RJ Sneed. I'm not worried in the slightest about him. He makes contested catches better than anyone on this roster, really. So I'm not worried about him. So then after those two, okay, is where it really gets interesting. I think there's huge expectations for Drew Estrada, and I honestly think he's got a very safe floor. I really think he's just going to be a good player, and you kind of know what you're getting. So he'll be quality, but then after him, for me, the guy to watch is Jalen Ellis. It's just, he's the guy to watch. I truly think there's an opportunity for him to possibly turn into that go-to type guy as far as a deep threat, a guy who can make plays over the top of the defense. Give him a quarterback that can throw the ball 50 yards downfield. He's going to be a problem. And he makes contested catches look easy. He had huge hype coming out of high school, out of Cedar Ridge in Austin. Just a fantastic talent. And I think it all comes together for him this year, but it's got to start in the spring. He's got to make that push to being in that 2 deep.
One of the, I think one of the positions that maybe we've been lost on so far, we talked a little bit about the corner spot, some of the DBs. I mean, when it comes to those guys that are at safety, and I'm sure Baylor will throw out multiple different defensive sets again, but when you look at those guys that are that deep protection, really, is this team solid? I mean, do we know what we're going to get?
I mean, you got to hope that when you have guys like Christian Morgan and JT Woods who have been in the program for so long and they're, this is their 4th year, I think, you got to feel pretty good that they're going to continue to take steps in the right direction. Now, I will say both of them have had ups and downs, for sure. I mean, that Oklahoma State game at the end of the year was really tough to watch. They had other periods where, missing tackles or just not making plays in coverage. That's going to happen. But if they can just narrow that down a little bit more this spring and hang into the season, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. But like I mentioned, the question is the guys behind them. If something were to happen to JT Woods or Christian Morgan, they need these young guys to step up. They need guys like Al Walcott to really take that step. Jaron McVay to continue to be a consistent, reliable backup. They're going to need some of these young guys, though, honestly. I mean, Devin Lemire, Lorando Johnson, I think, could be playing some safety this fall or this spring. Devin Neal is a name that everyone keeps talking about. So those are the kind of guys that I expect to really push to be in the 2 deep. And it will be really telling when the 2 deep comes out for the safety position because there's just so much competition on that back end.
So 5x5, talking, and I don't want to get too far in depth into this with it being premium content that you guys can all find on SicEm365.com. I mean, in-depth recruiting questions, things that could play out in spring practice and moving forward. But walk me through a couple things that maybe you have in there. So not too many spoilers, but a little bit that you're expecting out of that 5x5.
Yeah, so I mean, I talk about some risers, some job winners, some just overall questions I have. So I guess let's start with one of the questions I have going into the spring ball. And I think the first one that I kind of want to hone in on is Dave Aranda. And the question is, how has Dave Aranda changed in year 2, heading into his second season as a head coach? I think we saw him make the changes that he felt was necessary, for this team moving forward during the offseason. But now I want to see him on the field. Take those steps in the right direction as well, put his fingerprints all over this program, the new culture that he's instilled because it is his program now, and just see how he reacts with the new coaches, see what the environment is like, everything like that goes into having a really successful football team. Very curious to see how Dave Aranda handles year number 2.
Storylines wise, now, there are a couple on there. What is one that you can give the folks that you're really looking forward to?
I think the one that I'm gonna hone in on is the offensive line. And there's so many questions about the offensive line, but for me, it was what really resonated to me last year was when Dave Aranda talked about the fact that they would love to have a starting 5 and then a backup tackle, a backup guard, a backup center, right? Or preferably a backup at each position, specifically a backup left tackle, backup left guard. They did not have that. They were just throwing guys into positions because they just needed guys on the field. And so I guess for me, it's can they find 5 starting offensive linemen who they feel really good about, and can they have 3 backups, a backup at center, a backup at guard, and a backup at tackle that they also feel very good about, feel like competed really well, feel like they push the starter and can come in and give you some reliable reps because, I mean, frankly, this team hasn't had more than 3 quality offensive linemen really at any point in the last 3 years. So they really need to find an area to provide depth and starting potential, of course.
How about flipping a little bit from the spring practice side? Is there anything else you want to cover there before we hit recruiting?
Yeah, just one more thing. I think that everyone has talked about and hyped up Vic Valoria. So I think a big thing I'm looking at is when I walk into the practice, field and practice arena and, for the media times, do I notice a massive difference? Because I feel like I should. Right. And I feel like that was something that we noticed in year number 2 under Matt Rule, the difference in the in the players, the bodies, the physicality, the size of the guys. And I think that's something that's very important to watch. And I think we'll all kind of learn exactly how good Vic Valoria was in the limited time he's been here. He hasn't even been there that long.
That was my question for JD today, was if there's one person on the staff. I mean, I am not questioning Vic Valoria whatsoever, but we've seen the hype videos. Those are great. Two eyes, put it on a guy, you're like, all right, that's a big dude. You know, when you see that across the board, that's when it proves, okay, this is legit. How about on the recruiting side? It's been the last 10 minutes or so here in recruiting. Kyler Jordan committing to Baylor, number 9 in the class of 2022, as Baylor is still recruiting so hard right now in the midst of spring football. What do you make of that commitment from Kyler Jordan?
Well, he felt called to Baylor. So the first thing that tells me is, man, that's a perfect fit for Baylor, because if you're saying that, then you already have a little bit of that Baylor side in you, you know what I mean? And he's obviously very in tune with his faith as well, which is, obviously a big characterization of Baylor. But the thing that I keep hearing about him, and it goes beyond just the faith aspect, but he's just a great fit for the Baylor program. And it's so important for Dave Aranda to build a culture. It's just so important. I can't stress it enough. And to get guys that he feels like are perfect fits to instill that culture in the team and help him build a culture, because you're not going to do it just as a coach. You have to be able to do it through your players, and your players have to be able to resonate with other players. So I think that's the first area for him. The second area that I think is the most talked about currently is his versatility, because he everyone can talk about where they think he fits in best as a player, but he can play multiple positions, and he's being recruited as an athlete. He could play the jack linebacker spot, defensive end, middle linebacker, fullback, H-back. I mean, there's just so many options with him, and the fact of the matter is he's just a really good player. I have a feeling he ends up at defensive end, ends up at 280 pounds at some point, and is able to play one of those DN spots. And I mean, over the past 2 years, he's been the district defensive MVP. And I think that just shows you the production that he's had over his career at Lubbock Cooper. So this is a nice pickup. He fits really well, and I think he really is going to continue to tie this recruiting class together. He's already in the group chat, already getting to know those guys, and I think he's going to be a very likable one. And, of course, to go win a battle against Tech in Lubbock is always fun.
We keep talking about these guys that are 3 stars that have the 4-star upside, and Kyler Jordan is one of those that's a solid-looking 3-star. I've seen his highlights. I mean, the guy looks good, and he's a good pickup, like you said, over Tech and over West Virginia, over Tulane and those schools that are recruiting him. I got to know, though, where are the 4 stars? Do you feel like there comes a point here in the next couple months where Baylor starts landing those guys where you go, okay, here's a 4-star that Baylor won a competition with against a Texas A&M or a Texas or even an Arkansas? Does that come?
I think if you're looking for a consensus 4-star, across every website, this dude's a 4-star, you're not going to find that many that Baylor is in on. Now, as far as perspective, my perspective on it, they're in the running for multiple 4-stars, but obviously, people want to see it on the 247 rankings. Right, people want to see it there. But, I mean, guys like Nicholas Hall on the offensive line, that's a 4-star. Yeah. I mean, he's 6'6.5", and he's 305 pounds, and he still has another year of high school. I mean, those guys don't grow on trees. And, I mean, he performed really well at the Under Armour camp. I mean, he was running shuttles, his shuttle drill, comparable to guys who are wide receivers who are highly rated. That's just very different for a guy at 300 pounds to do that. So I think he would count as one. The name that I think everyone has to watch for that I think will end up being, I don't want to say will, but I do think Baylor's in a good position to land him, and he would be the consensus. This guy's a 4-star, top 20 player in the state type dude, and that's Jared Kerr. We've talked about a ton out of Lexington. That's the guy who I just think he's probably the highest rated guy that they're still in on, outside of Neto Umeozulu out of Allen. But his competition's going to be really, really crazy. 35 plus offers. So those are the 2 guys. If you want a true 4/5-star guy, those are the 2 I'm looking at. Outside of those 2, I think you might be waiting a little bit. There's a lot of really good talent out there. I will say, guys like Derek Brown out of Texas High, his recruiting's just starting to turn. So as he gets these offers and the national sites update his, ranking, he might end up being a 4-star. Jeremy Patton, who just got Texas and Oklahoma over the last 2 weeks, he might end up being a 5-star after getting 2 more offers like that. So it's a fluctuating circumstance, but Baylor's in a good position to land a very talented class. Let's just put it that way.
Elsewhere in 2022, 9 guys now have given the commitment to Baylor. Where is the next recruit that you say, all right, this guy, it won't be very long before he says, okay, I'm a Bear?
That's a good one. I have a couple candidates, but I'm going to stick to one that I think is, like I've said, very highly rated and probably one that Baylor fans have been waiting on a while, but I just think he's a perfect fit for Baylor, and everything he says is so pro-Baylor. After talking to him on Sunday, I just think it'd be really tough for him to choose somewhere else unless these schools like Oklahoma and Texas really push for him, and that's Jeremy Patton out of Tenaha. He's a linebacker. I saw on Twitter the Pat to be you. That was him. And I just think there's good momentum there for Baylor. And like I said, though, Texas and OU just recently offered, but I do think the fit, the relationship with the staff, the culture that Dave Aranda's built, the fact that the entire staff calls and talks to him and has gotten to know him, I just think it's going to be really tough for those schools to build that kind of relationship with him before he's ready to make a decision, which I think will probably be before the end of the spring.
When it comes to not just those guys that are interested, but the offers that are going out right now, have you seen, especially after that camp we discussed last week, have you seen Baylor putting any more offers out there or targeting any guys more specifically?
Yeah, so, there were a few offers from the camp. Robert Fitzgerald out of Dallas Jesuit, which is the same high school as Ryan Lingell, who was in the previous class. He'll be on Baylor's campus in the summer. But Robert Fitzgerald, the 2022 recruit, safety, honestly just blew up at the camp. Ran extremely well. I believe he measured 6'1", 194, ran a 4.52 40, which I don't think anyone was expecting. So you mix his dominant film with that. He's definitely one to keep an eye on that I know the Baylor staff was thrilled that they were able to offer him early before everyone else. And then the other one to mention is Austin Kawecki out of Frisco Lebanon Trail. He measured really well, tested really well, and got Virginia Tech offer after the Baylor one. I believe he got a couple more as well on the board, Colorado. So he's another one that they looked at. So those 2 guys are definitely in the running. And Kawecki's an interesting one because they continue to put out tons of offensive line offers. And you just kind of wonder, at what point are they going to decide, okay, we've offered too many and maybe we need to stop and land some guys before we continue to throw out offers, or else, going to run out of space. Right. Good news is they could probably take 6 and really would not be upset about it.
With the 2023 class, or even the transfer market right now and what you're seeing, the transfer market, we've talked about the last 2 weeks, it seems like there's just been nothing.
Nothing.
Still nothing.
Still none. It's just nothing. And not a lot of guys are joining either. So I think it's taking a little bit. I think after spring ball, you might see some fluctuation, and after the JUCO season, which is still not, still going on.
Right. How about 2023 though? Anything you're seeing there? I know there was that barrage of offers. It seems like almost a month ago now, where Baylor just really hit that hard. Is there any more movement in 2023?
There's a little bit. I wouldn't say that anyone's getting close to making a decision at this very moment. I think Christian Brathwaite is the one we've talked about out of Cy Ranch, who I think Baylor feels the best about, and he's a very, very good player. But I think if you're looking, kind of at the 2023 class, they still have not offered a quarterback. So I'm just kind of wondering what's going to happen there. I'm not sold on anyone quite yet in the state for the 2023 quarterbacks. I need to see more, to be frank. And so I'm wondering if they feel the same way, and if there's a chance here that everyone was a year early. Everyone's talking about 2022. Maybe they don't take a quarterback. Well, maybe it's 2023 because it doesn't seem like they're pressing hard to evaluate those guys either. So interested in that storyline. I know Baylor did offer one of my favorite prospects in 2023 as far as kind of a guy that was hidden for a while that's no longer hidden anymore. Braylon James out of Del Valle High School. In the Austin area, but he's blown up. Got Stanford, Miami, Kansas, Colorado, tested extremely well at the Under Armour camp, ran a low 4.5. I think he ran a 4.52 at 6'3", 180 pounds, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's exactly what you want, especially with the laser time. So he's a freak, and the Baylor staff offered him and decided that he's a guy that they're going to recruit hard. And that was an interesting one for me because I've been following him for a while. So to see him get the offer, we'll see what happens.
Real quick here, Grayson, got a guest coming up at 1:05, but Marshall Burns asks, what position gives you the least amount of concern here going into spring ball today?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's such a good question because for me it's two. And it's really the running back position doesn't give me a whole lot of worries, and neither does the linebacker spot. Reason for it, I feel really good about the talent level in the running back room. And as you've seen, young guys can perform at the running back position. It's not as difficult as other positions to perform at a young age. As far as linebackers go, I just like the depth. You know, you're talking Trell Bernard, Dylan Doyle, Jalen Petrie, kind of that nickel spot, that star position. But I feel really good about those guys to go along with the talent they have behind them. Matt Jones, Victor Obi, Will Williams, Hakeem Vance, Ashton Logan. I just feel really, really good about it. And also the young guys, Brooks Miller, Tyrone Brown, both Tyrone Browns. Tony and Yanu. I mean, the linebacker group is loaded, and I think we're seeing why Dave Aranda is such kind of that linebacker whisperer that everyone talks about. I mean, he just lands talent and guys with high upside and also high floors. So very excited about the linebackers and then also the running backs.
I love it. Grayson Grundy for the big board. Thanks so much for breaking down all things recruiting today and spring practice as Baylor kicks off football season basically effectively today. Yep. Yeah, thanks, man, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an exciting day, isn't it, man? It just gives you the jitters. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's like Christmas, football Christmas. Drake Toll, Grayson Grundy for Armstrong Sims. When we come back, Sue Favor joins us on the show to talk all things women's basketball as Baylor has punched its ticket to the Sweet 16 and faces Michigan this weekend. This is Up Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. The Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kimolki and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55, and 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Auriemma is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach, who is an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With your Ram truck from Allen Samuels, you may not have to plow through snow and mud or pull heavy loads, but you could. During the Big Finish year-end event, you get a Ram deal like no other. Employee pricing for all, 0% for 84, and no payments for 90 days. Ram 1500 Lone Star for Christmas. No other truck comes close. And ask about Big Finish pricing on Ram Heavy Duty and Ram ProMaster for your business. Happy holidays from Allen Samuels.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
And Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your home for holiday favorites for parties and the time with family. Various specials available in-store and online. A variety of steak gift boxes with 4 ribeyes for $70, 4 bacon wrap fillets for $55, or 4 New York strips for $50, and all come with steak butter. Fall snack box for watching a game or wrapping presents or hosting people at your house, including summer sausage, split horn, and jalapeno cheese, and salted crackers for only $35. 2 pieces of lobster tails with herb butter and 2 bacon wrap fillets for $60. Order online or call in advance to ensure availability, or drop by Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. Waco Custom Marketplace has a full-service butcher shop for customized orders or cuts of your favorite steaks or beef tenderloin or specially ordered prime rib roast. Plus, what you want with pork, poultry, seafood, and more. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or wacocustommarketplace.com.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just like just the hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
All right, welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den, folks. Today, Wednesday, coming off of a big win for the Lady Bears last night over Virginia Tech in the round of 32 to advance to the Sweet 16. And now Baylor takes on Michigan this weekend. The Lady Bears doing it again. And on the show today to help us break it all down, Miss Sue Favors. Sue, thanks so much for joining the show and talking women's basketball with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Sue runs the Women's Hoops World Twitter account, 15,000 followers, so many people that follow along with your content and so much great content you put out on your blog and the things you do on your website. So great to have you breaking things down with Lady Bears. And I want to know, Sue, 30,000-foot level. When you look at this Baylor team, what do you like about it?
I like that 30,000-foot level. You know what is amazing to me this year about them is just their depth, and they're so solid. You know, you have 4 players in Alyssa Smith, Dejanay Carrington, Moon Urson, and Queen Egbo that are averaging double-figure scoring, and then everybody adds a different piece to complete the puzzle. You know, you've got Alyssa, who's kind of like the positionless player. You've got Moon, who can pretty much do everything. You've got Dejanay, who's a threat from the outside, and you've got Queen Egbo, who's kind of also the energy leader through the team. And then you look at their bench, and everybody on their bench makes solid contributions. There's really nobody who averages 0.02 of a point per game. You know, everybody's ready to step up when their name is called. And they're just a scary team. I'll be honest with you. I would not want to face them in any round, to be quite honest, and especially given what we saw yesterday against Virginia Tech.
Without a doubt. I mean, 90-48 final score yesterday, and this Baylor squad was going up against a team in Virginia Tech that's been kind of volatile this year. Elizabeth Kitley is one of the best young players in the country. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with for a couple years to come. And Baylor just shut her down, held her to 6 points. Did that surprise you at all?
You know, quite honestly, my friend, it didn't. I had a feeling they were going to come bring it. They kind of have a way of shutting everybody down. The Lady Bears had their only 2 losses of the season fairly early in the season. And so, as they like to say, you know, you do learn from your losses. And it looks like whatever they need to learn from those losses, they took it to heart, because they have never looked back since. And it just seems like since the Iowa State loss, they've looked even more volatile than usual. And so I don't know what they got cooking, but they also have that, outside of the statistics, they have that intangible that you can't really talk about in too much detail because it's intangible, and that's that they just vibe really well together on the court. They have that chemistry. They know exactly where each other is at all times, and they just make it happen. They get it done no matter who they're playing. They get it done.
So one of the ESPN analysts last night said it is so obvious why this Lady Bear defense is so good. What is it? Many folks that follow this team know why that's obvious, but for folks that don't, what is it that makes this team so good defensively?
Well, they're really smart. Obviously, they've got length and they've got height. Melissa Smith is scary. When Queen Egbo gets her mojo going, she starts flexing and stuff like that. And, so they can work on another team psychologically as well as physically. But don't forget, they have Hall of Fame coach Kim Mulkey, and she's a brilliant coach. She's been at the championship level as a player and as a coach. And so, they've got a lot of basketball. So they've got it all, really, Armstrong. They've got intelligence from Coach Mulkey. They've got high basketball IQ themselves. They got insane athleticism. And then they're just coached extremely well by the entire staff. And they know exactly on their defensive assignments what to do, when to do, where to be at what time. And they just shut teams down with a hammer.
We talked about Melissa Smith and Queen Egbo. One of those names that's kind of been lost on folks this year because she's just the glue girl. She's done it all, and she's been so great at point guard as Dee Richards. I mean, she's been a staple of women's college basketball these last 4 years. What is it that makes Dee Richards so good, and how does she kind of get lost in this team sometimes?
Boy, that's a great question. And you know what? I just saying that, I realized that I was leaving Dee Richards' name out, and I've actually been one of the ones to sing her praises. You know what? Maybe it's just that when you do things so well, people tend to take for granted that you're there. And she's a master. I didn't check my Big 12 stats. I admitted this morning before I came in, but I think she is at the top of the Big 12 in assists, if I'm not mistaken. She can get you the ball. And she is that glue person together for sure. She's also a calming presence. Like her and Dejanay Carrington are kind of the older, wiser heads, and they're all very calming presence on the court. And when you have that calm control attitude coming from your point guard, I mean, obviously everything's going to flow well from there. I don't know why. I've heard things said about Dee Richards, like, oh, she's overrated. She's not ready for the WNBA, but I think she's very ready, and I don't know what scouts might be looking at her, but I'm sure there's some, because she's just solid. And then obviously what she had to overcome earlier in the year with the collision and the spinal cord injury, and overcome that made her mentally even stronger than she was. I was in on the media call on, I believe, Saturday with the Baylor Lady Bears, where it was Coach Mulkey and Dee and Alyssa, and Dee just seems really relaxed. She just seems in a really good place right now. She's just confident. She's just ready to go. She just seems like she's not worried about the team at all. Like they've all taken care of what they need to take care of. And she's just going into this tournament like, we're ready to go.
Aditi is one of the more confident players that you'll find in women's college basketball. And it's just, when I see a player like that, it's typically not that three-point shooter. It's the player that knows that their defense and their grit is what makes them so consistent, and she's been that for Baylor. On the Riverwalk side of things, you've got Iowa, who upset Kentucky, Michigan, who upset Tennessee. Both of those games were blowouts. A little bit of parity and volatility in the Riverwalk side. Now Baylor sees Michigan. Michigan's got a newer coach on the sidelines. I mean, how do you feel about this Baylor game that's going to take place this weekend in the Sweet 16?
Man, So yeah, I wouldn't. It's easy to underestimate other teams when you're Baylor, but they're too smart to do that. Michigan has a lot going on. Obviously, led by All-American Naz Hillman. Naz Hillman has maybe the nicest hands in the NCAA. She's just really, really effective underneath the rim, and so they're going to have to really get to her under the rim and try to limit her touches, which I'm sure they're already working on. But the Big Ten overall, including Michigan, they really stepped their game up this year. It's not like they were over a bad conference, but they're just maybe one of the top 2 best conferences in the country right now. And so the Big Ten's no joke, and this should be a really, really fun matchup between 2 physical teams. I can't wait. It's one of those games that's going to be kind of like a chess match because Coach Erico obviously isn't as experienced as Coach Mulkey, but she's got a lot of experience and she's been through it and she's really brought that team up. And then also the Wolverines have been through a lot off the court this year as well with the 2 COVID pauses and still persevering. So they're extremely mentally tough. So it should be a really fun matchup. I'm excited.
Sue, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up while we're talking about the Riverwalk region, but the performance from Caitlin Clark to score 35 points yesterday for Iowa in an upset victory on top of Kentucky. I mean, she was just unbelievable. And now Caitlin Clark gets to face off against UConn and Paige Beckers. How about that matchup in this region?
Man, I think the whole country's going to be looking at that one. I've already seen several tweets yesterday. Oh, it's must-see TV. It's just going to be fun. Those 2 are obviously the best 2 freshmen in the country. But Caitlin Clark maybe has had a little less exposure because the UConn hype train is what it is. But the people who watch the game and the people that have seen her play already, they already knew what they were dealing with. And I mean, she just did what she usually does yesterday. Caitlin Clark is a threat from anywhere on the court. She can score at every place on the court. And then she also has extremely good court vision, especially for her age, and she can get the ball to anywhere. That's why she led the Big Ten in assists this year. And it should be really fun. I'll be honest, I haven't really watched UConn much this year, so I don't know how her teammates are going to match up with Iowa's team, which I've watched way more of. But it should be a fun matchup because Iowa right now is playing with a whole lot of confidence, and they're extremely motivated. And so I anticipate more forest fire there too.
Yeah, the Big Ten has proven a lot. The Big Ten has proven they can hold their own, especially in a tournament like this where, there have been a couple of those teams in upset fashion that have moved on, Michigan and Iowa being 2 of those. With the Baylor, the prospect, though, of Baylor and UConn meeting in the Elite 8, I want to take you back a little bit to when the bracket was first released. Did you feel like it was unfair that those 2 teams were pit in the same region together?
Man, yeah, in a way, yeah. Everybody, I hate to say that because A, I hate complainers, and then B, no matter what kind of bracket's going to put up, if the committee's going to put out, somebody's going to complain about it. But I did kind of say, wow, because I don't know. It's hard to say Armstrong, but right now at this moment, I will put Baylor and Maryland in the title game. I mean, obviously we have several more rounds and many, many, many more games to play. But right now and for the last week, I feel like those 2 teams are the strongest teams. I see the best ball movement, the best cohesion, the biggest fire, the biggest chemistry, the most motivation between those teams, and just unbelievable ball movement for both the Lady Bears and for the Chirps. And so I don't know, it just depends. I guess we'll see. I definitely don't see how Baylor got to be a 2 seed. That's just crazy to me, but that's just me.
I love it. I like you said, we're not complainers around here, obviously, but at the same time, the question's got to be posed. Hey,
true.
Baylor being a 2 seed, and especially right there with UConn, and it's a UConn team. We didn't get to see the Baylor-UConn matchup earlier this year that was canceled due to COVID-19.
That's a good, you know what, I forgot about that. Good looking out. And I like the way you put that about there's a big difference between raising the question and complaining. So I approve of this message. Yes.
Without a doubt, and what I love about Kim is Kim came out and she said, look, We missed 4 games due to COVID that were top 25 games. She said, our resume is not what some of these teams have. We're going to go out there and play with what they've given us. We got to either beat UConn in the round of 64 or the national championship. There's nobody that Kim and her team that they are scared of. And I speaking to that, being an analyst, someone who's watched women's college basketball for so long, what makes Kim Mulkey so good, so uniquely good in this game?
Oh my gosh. Well, to take you all the way back, when I was a kid, she was playing in the very first NCAA championship for women in 1982. So I remember being captivated at that point by God, who is this crazy, fiery player with the braid? Oh my God, who is this? And I get close to the TV and I just watch. So I think it starts with that fire. Then, Coach Mulkey she's extremely fiery, extremely driven. She was a point guard, so she has an extremely high IQ. And she gets the right people around her. She has great coaches around her, and then she also brings the right players in. And she said something the other day in the presser that I was talking about earlier, that she likes to keep a good balance between the people she's brought in and she's talked to for years, and then she does get a lot of transfer interest. And so she says, I forget her quote was, you can't do everything you can't develop kids when you're bringing in transfers over and over and over. I like to keep a good mixture. That was it. So I thought, wow, that's pretty intelligent. So she's aware of her personnel, her staff, what she needs to have and what she should have. And she said the key words, player development. So I would probably say, without having spoken to Coach Mulkey directly about that it starts with player development for her. And she's pretty conscious of who she is developing as a player. So overall, Coach Mulkey her IQ is pretty much just off the charts.
And then, Sue, last question here for you pertaining to this bracket and the women's basketball tournament that we've seen so far play out. You mentioned Baylor in the national championship game against Maryland, and you alluded a little bit to what gives you confidence in that. I want you to just kind of explain and ease the mind of some of the Baylor fans that may be doubting right now with UConn right there in front of the Lady Bears. What gives you that confidence in Baylor's team to make it all the way?
Well, and it's not a diss on UConn at all, don't get me wrong, but I just think Baylor has had more challenges as far as playing. They've played in a tougher league, frankly. The Big East was not a very tough league, so Connecticut Huskies were not really challenged this year. They had they have great players. They play extremely well together. Their coaching staff is excellent, obviously. But they haven't been challenged as much as Baylor. And Baylor has really overcome a lot, both on and off the court. And, I guess UConn has too. But Baylor just plays with such tremendous ferocity because of that. They've been tested. And I don't know. I guess I can't even say either, Armstrong, because it's kind of more of a intuition. I have this basketball intuition, I have a really, really good feel for people and teams. And that's the part that I can't explain to people. People will get on my Twitter and try to argue with me. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, bro. I can't really tell you why, but I just have, and I'm usually always right. And it just feels like I just feel this tremendous energy from them. Baylor is just fired. They're just ready to rip it up. That's why I say I wouldn't want to face them. And again, it's nothing against UConn, but I just don't feel that fire from UConn, nor have they been tested as tough as Baylor has this season, even with their cancellations.
Well, Sue, I love the gut feeling. I'm a gut feeling guy too. So you bring that to the table, and I'm not gonna knock you for it. As long as your gut is right here, I won't complain whatsoever. Baylor in the national championship against Maryland. I would certainly love to see it. Baylor's got that caliber team this year. And Sue, before we get you out of here, our Bear Games question of the day. If there was one non-softball player, so and for you, I'm going to tailor it to you, one women's basketball player that you think could win a home run derby, that you put your mortgage on this women's basketball player winning a home run derby, who would it be?
On the Bears?
Oh, anywhere, anybody.
A home run derby. Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. And just to flip it right at me off the top. So basically, you're asking me who the toughest-minded person in the conference is, right?
Yeah, that or strongest.
It's pretty hard. Yeah. No. I don't know. To be honest, I'm a Gemini, so it's usually I can just pull stuff right off the top of my head right there. But that's a tough one. I would actually have to think about that one. There's so many good players right now. it would have been easier in the day when it was even just 5 years ago when it was Breanna Stewart. I would say some of the most Naz Hillman from Michigan. She's pretty tough-minded. When she scores, she screams about it for a good 30 seconds. So it might be her. And her mother, she's in deep competition with her mother. Her mother played basketball at a high level too. So she's always like, I beat my mom in this and I beat my mom in that. So maybe off the top, I would just say Naz Hillman for right now. But not to say that, not as some of these Baylor girls, I don't know. Maybe Naz Hillman versus Moon Urson. I don't know.
Look, Moon can jump out of the gym. She's got the guns. I got a softball home run derby between Naz Hillman and Moon Urson I'd pay to see. That'd be must-see TV. Sue, thanks so much for joining Up Tempo today and talking to us about all things women's college basketball. It's been such a fun tournament, and there's so much more to be played.
Man, thanks so much for having me. It's good to talk to you. I think we could probably chop it up all day about sports, I think, you and me. And that memorabilia you've got there, that's pretty dope right there.
Oh,
Keep up your memorabilia game.
It's the beautiful studio here on 101 Elm. Sue, thanks again. We'd love to hear from you again soon.
Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great one.
You too. Again, that was Sue Faber. She runs a Twitter account with 15,000 followers. It covers all things women's college basketball, all things women's hoop. You got to check it out. I mean, the content is golden. She's got her own website, too, where she's constantly posting blogs and different new updates and information on women's college basketball. It's at Hoopism, Women's Hoops World. It's Women's Hoops World on Twitter, and the blog, womenshoopsworld.com. Go ahead, give that a follow. I mean, check that out. A lot of really, really good content, good stuff, talking all things women's college basketball. And last night, the Lady Bears, they got it done. When we come back, we're talking a little bit more. We'll go a little bit more in depth on Baylor's win against Virginia Tech last night. We'll show some highlights, clips from that game, and we'll hear from Kim Mulkey and Dejanay Carrington, their thoughts about the Lady Bears win. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. This is Up Tempo.
2 tickets punched. The number 2 Baylor men and number 5 Baylor women are now both locked into their respective Sweet 16s with dominant round 2 wins. For the Lady Bears last night, it was an offensive and defensive onslaught that led to 2-seed Baylor over 7-seed Virginia Tech, 90-48. The Lady Bears held the Lady Hokies' best player to just 6 points, while Moon Urson put on another show with 21 points to match Dejanay Carrington's 21. Kim Mulkey and company will be back in action this weekend against Michigan in the Sweet 16. Elsewhere on the women's side, 5-seed Iowa upset 4-seed Kentucky 86-72. 6-seed Michigan toppled 3-seed Tennessee 70-55. And 1-seed UConn handled 8-seed Syracuse 83-47. And Gino Auriemma is set to rejoin his team this Wednesday. On the men's side, Minnesota has hired Ben Johnson as its next head coach, who is an assistant for the Golden Gophers for 5 years and head coach at Xavier for 3. And reports have surfaced Grand Canyon men's basketball's Oscar Freyer died in a car accident last night. The university has yet to confirm the reports. Over to the Diamond, Baylor baseball fell last night 4-3 in extra innings at UT Arlington after leading most of the game. Luke Boyd registered his first loss of the year in the defeat. On the softball side, the Lady Bears notched a 7-3 victory on the road against Sam Houston State, led by a Goose McGlon home run early in the game. I'm Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Armstrong's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm, welcome home.
Bird Culture Ford has been in Waco since 1936. Ford, the #1 selling truck in Texas, 43 years running. And Bird Culture Ford proudly supports high school football in Central Texas. And no better way to tailgate with a Ford than from Bird Culture Ford. And are there better vehicles to tailgate with than the Ford F-150 or the Ford Expedition? And of course, you can get them new pre-owned Bird Culture Ford. Our sponsor of the Ford Tough Player of the Week, locally owned dealership, online at bkford.com at 1701 West Loop 340 in Waco. Bird Culture Ford.
The holidays are here, and I have a simple question for you. Will you weigh as much more or less than you do right now when the holidays are over? Why not end the year in better shape than when you started and create momentum for 2021? Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has numerous options for stocking stuffer gifts with gift cards for gym or tennis membership, fitness merchandise, tanning, massage, tennis lessons, and personal training. Perhaps a gift for a client, a family member, or a friend. You just need to walk through the front door to change your life. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. Spacious, clean workout room, free weights, Cybex cardio equipment, and no intimidation. A tremendous camaraderie and family atmosphere. So get the best and healthiest Christmas gift you can for someone or yourself. It's time to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Learning to navigate life in the COVID-19 world has been a struggle, and where and how to get tested has been one of the biggest challenges. Impact Health Labs has your answer. If you need mass testing for your office, church, dormitory, or school, Impact Health Labs is who to call. They will come to you, conduct the testing at your location, and have the test back within 24 hours. Most major insurance accepted, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is low. So no more waiting by the phone for days to find out the results. Impact Health Labs was founded by 3 Army licensed and credentialed medical professionals. They believe in accuracy, efficiency, and doing the job right. Call 254-744-6233 to set up your group screening today. Impact Health Labs, on-site, prompt, and accurate, taking COVID-19 head-on. Again, that number is 254-744-6233 or online at impacthealthlabs.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. How about it, folks? It is Wednesday. Come on. Come on. Who do you think you are? I am. You seen the video where he retires? Where he was like, love me or hate me. You couldn't look away. Have you seen that?
I have, actually.
It's, what is his name? Weber? Something Weber. It's not
Pete
Bruce.
Weber.
Pete Weber? We gotta put
bowling legend. I loved him, by the way. I did not hate him.
Really? Who do you think you are? I am.
So good.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. It's Flow Bowling. We're gonna watch that here in a little bit because I just want to watch it again. It's his retirement. It's the last time he ever bowls. It's just something. Hate me or love me, you watched. That's all you could do. Oh my gosh. What a quote from the legend Pete Weber. Who do you think you are? Oh, that's so good. Women's basketball yesterday. Baylor on top of Virginia Tech. This Virginia Tech team, all right, solid. They've knocked off NC State this year. They've had a couple of games that have been really, really close against solid teams. They've had games where they've beaten solid teams, like teams that are national championship caliber. Baylor went out and beat them 98-48. They only allowed, one of the reporters asks in the press conference, we'll watch here in a second, he's like, he says, Dijonay, you held this team to 48 points, under 50. Like, yeah, well, that's how that goes. Baylor improved to 52-15 all-time in the NCAA tournament. 52-15 all-time in the NCAA tournament. They've only lost in 15 tournaments. Under head coach Kim Mulkey. Baylor's 15-3 all-time in the second round. What?
Nothing. I mean, the statement, they've only lost 15 times in the tournament under Coach Kim Mulkey is kind of a funny statement, but...
Why?
How long has she been here?
19 years? 18, 19 years?
Okay.
Yeah. So. I mean, if you think about it, though.
Yeah.
That's a low number of losses compared to 52 wins.
Yeah, that is a low number compared to the 52 wins.
Right. But if someone was just
she probably has more losses in the NCAA tournament than Scott Drew.
Right, because Scott Drew hasn't made 15 NCAA tournaments.
Yeah, I know, but saying only 15 losses is just a funny way to put it.
In comparison to 52 wins.
Okay.
Baylor 15-3 all-time in second-round games, 12 straight advances to the Sweet 16. Their 42-point win was the largest margin of victory in an NCAA second-round game. No one has ever won by that much, ever, in the second round. That's wild. Baylor's blocks, 13 blocks, tied for third most in an NCAA game in program history. D.D. Richards ranks third all-time among Baylor players in the tournament with 45 career assists. She had 9 assists and 0 turnovers. Queen Egbo had 7 blocks, seventh most by... She had 7 blocks last night? God bless! Mulkey's got the Lady Bears to 19 NCAA tournament appearances. 17 straight. 17 straight NCAA tournament appearances, ranks 12th all-time, 5th longest active streak. They're a number 2 seed, marks 10th straight year. Baylor earned its first trip to the Final Four. Baylor's string of 16 straight NCAA tournament appearances, 6th best among active streaks in the NCAA. I think that contradicts what I just said. Baylor's 4-5 all-time in Elite 8 contests, 9-5 in Sweet 16s. 42-point margin of victory is the largest in the second round of NCAA tournament game. Why? These team notes are... They're repetitive a little bit. Baylor improved to 631 and 103 under head coach Kim Mulkey. Yeah, that's only 103 losses. Baylor improved to 1-0 against Virginia Tech all time. They've won 19 straight games. 19 straight games. They're 367 and 27 since 2010-2011. Some teams lose that many games in a year. Oh boy, that's wild. That's just simply wild. After scoring 21 points, Moon Urson now has 60 career points in the NCAA tournament. She entered this year's postseason with just 15. That's a stat. It's Urson's 7th career game with 20-plus points, 33rd of her career in double figures. Dejanay Carrington recorded a career-best 21-point performance in the NCAA tournament. Carrington's 8th career postseason outing in double figures. Queen Egbo's 12 points, career best in the NCAA tournament. Combined with her 13 rebounds, Egbo produced her first career NCAA tournament double-double. Egbo's 19th double-double of her career, and she led the Bears with 3 steals. All right, highlights from last night's win. It was the Moon Urson show for Baylor. She put up 21 points after putting up a 24-piece in round 1 against Jackson State. Nalissa Smith put up 15 last night. Dejanay Carrington added 21, 8 boards, 3 assists. Check out the highlights from last night's win. Baylor over Vatek.
That I've been a part of. When you create that many turnovers, when you look at the points in the paint, look at the second chance points, when you look at the fast break, and then when you look at the bench points, good golly, our kids were ready to play.
Pickell a three-point try, top of the key, and nailed out an and one opportunity. Wide open with the 3, and bingo! Find an opening, stolen by Trinity Oliver. She'll get on the board, go all the way in for the layup here, and makes it. The Baylor Lady Bears are going to the Sweet 16 for the 12th tournament in a row.
Sweet 16, baby, here we come! As you progress in this tournament, it gets tougher.
Sweet, sweet, sweet victory. Sweet, sweet, sweet 16.
Wait, as you progress in the tournament,
it gets tougher.
The games get tougher.
It gets tougher.
No.
It gets tougher.
No way.
Some say it's not true. I say it's true.
As you progress in the
I say it's
tournament,
true.
The games get tougher.
Unless you're Arkansas and you play Oral Roberts round 3 in the Sweet 16.
I know, Oral Roberts is a threat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Baylor got the win last night. You know what Virginia Tech probably felt like? You ever seen the whoop-ah, and then it's just whoop-ah, whoop-ah, the waves guy who's explaining the waves? Yeah, or he's like, it's just game and it was like whoop-ah. That's what Virginia Tech felt like. They had like the best player in the ACC, a girl that scores almost 20 points per game, averages 11 rebounds, Elizabeth Kitley. She's 6'5", center. She had 6 points and 6 rebounds last night. She played 40 minutes. She played the entire game. Had 6.6 rebounds. I could have had 6.6 rebounds in the entire game last night. I couldn't have, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Is that Elizabeth Kitley should have done better than that, and is so overhyped compared to how well the Lady Bears played against her last night. Check out this post-game press conference from Kim Mulkey.
Dejanay, can you talk about just how you guys kind of rallied around when Nalissa picked up her second foul? Y'all were actually able to stretch the lead, and she was able to sit out the rest of the first half.
I mean, we know how to play with any 5 players on the floor. Obviously, Nalissa is a huge asset to our team, and I don't think by any means we're better without her. But when she went off the court, we knew that we had to step up, and the game's not going to stop just because somebody goes out. The other team's not going to stop playing hard just because somebody's in foul trouble, and we know that. So we just had to dig deep, buckle down, and make plays, and that's what we did. It really started on the defensive end with Queen shutting down Kitley, and I think everybody built off that energy, or fed off that energy.
And you guys dominated on the boards, and it wasn't just, Nalissa and Queen. It seemed like everybody was really hitting the boards.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's what we've been doing all season long, is trying to beat the other team at offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. We have goals set for our offensive rebounds, and I think we hit that mark today. And every single night we know that all 5 players on the court have to help us rebound, and that's what really gets us going, is when we can hold a team to one shot and start running on the opposite end. It's really hard for teams to guard us.
Hey, Dejanay, Matt Roberts, Fox 44 Sports. You talked about a little bit the defense kind of setting things up for the offense, holding them to 30% from the field, and y'all shot 50. I mean, what does that say about what this team can do when you really shut other teams down?
We paid attention to the scout. We've been going over it for the past couple days, and we really just locked into it. I mean, they have great players, but I think we have better players, and I think that our players showed that today. Queen was just a menace on defense, and she didn't give them anything that they wanted. Our guards helped each other. Liz did a great job switching out. I just think we played well as a team today, on defense especially, and we've done that all season long.
Absolutely, and for you, 21 points tonight. What was really working for you in your game?
I was just trying to let it come to me. I think that's when I play best, is when I'm just patient and I let the game come to me. It's always nice seeing a couple threes fall, makes the basket big for myself, and getting to the free throw line. Those things kind of get me going. But getting on the glass, getting offensive rebounds, just trying to score in a multitude of ways and not being one-dimensional has really helped me to expand my game.
Hi, Dejanay. Michael Farrar here with Berg Sports Network. You guys held Virginia Tech to 48 points tonight, under 50. What were you most proud of your defense of today?
I think the way we protected the paint. I don't know how many points they got in the paint, but it couldn't have been too many. Like I said, our posts were just so tough to get past. Anytime our guards got beat on the drive or anything, we knew there's no point of us fouling because we have Queen and Nalissa back there who are going to send that the other way. So I'm just proud of how we protected the paint and protected the basket.
And what do you bring from your what do you take from your NCAA experiences at Stanford? Those. What do you take from those to this run?
I mean, kind of just like I said, is just don't take anything for granted. We've seen upsets, especially on the men's side, but also here in the last couple of days on the women's side, and you never know. Any team can beat any team on any given night, and that's what I've just seen over the past 4 years in the NCAA tournament. So yes, maybe we're the favorites in a specific region, but that doesn't mean anything to the team on the other end of the court. So we just know that we have to come out and play every single second of the game like we're down.
Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Kim, when you have numbers like 53-23 on the boards and 46-4 second chance or points in the paint, those are your kind of numbers, right?
Well, I'm looking at the stat sheet as I'm talking to you guys. When you have, create that many turnovers, when you look at the points in the paint, when you look at the second chance points, when you look at the fast break, and then when you look at the bench points, guys, I've been doing this 36 years, and that was as impressive a performance defensively from start to finish that I've been a part of. I hate to even say that because sometimes we forget as coaches, but good golly, our kids were ready to play defensively, and it just, as I told them at halftime and I told them at the end of the game, you take care of the ball. We had very few turnovers. You're helping each other, just helping each other defensively, the block shots. Our depth, when Alyssa got in foul trouble, Pickell comes in, shows you we have depth. The job that Queen did on Kitley, but she's been doing that. I said it at the end of the Big 12 tournament. Queen just doesn't get enough credit from the media and people who choose those all-tournament teams. Not that she cares, but every now and then people need to recognize what that kid does and what she did today. Dee Richards, you play, 34, 35 minutes, and you don't have one turnover in a game, and you've got 9 assists. I could just keep saying a lot of good things, which, I can pick apart some of the bad things we do, but I'd have to really watch a lot of film of this game because I just thought we set the tone from the tip.
Kim, building on that, you mentioning Queen, she blocked Kitley's shot 4 times in the first half. I mean, how much does that set the tone for what you guys wanted to do?
Oh, it does, and she was told that. Queen Egbo was a beast out there today, and she's been doing that though, Chad, and it's so good to see the progress she has made since she's been at Baylor because we're a better basketball team when Queen Egbo plays like that.
Excellent, thank you.
Our next question comes from Darby. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, Coach Mulkey, heading to the Sweet 16 for the 12th straight year, is that something you take a second to celebrate here?
Well, certainly we're going to celebrate the excitement of how we played today. We'll give them tomorrow off, and, they're tired. When you play that hard and you play 2 games in 3 days, it's postseason play. You need to be very careful with how much you do. So we will, certainly get in the weight room and do some things, lifting and all that. But, getting in a gym, I'm not sure we'll do that tomorrow.
Next question comes from Jerry. Please unmute yourself.
You kind of touched on it, but, Alyssa goes to the bench. I think it was about 2.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and you're up like 6 or 7, and you guys were able to stretch the lead and then up 24. And the fact that you were able to rest her the rest of that half, how big was that when the rest of the team kind of rallied?
Well, it goes back to one of the things I mentioned was our depth. Jerry, I'm big on sayings and quotes. And I told him this: it's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who receives the credit. Everybody knows Nalissa Smith is our All-American, and deservedly so. But our team is not just Nalissa Smith. Our team through the years has not just ever been one player. We have to understand that this game is not about any one individual. And I thought she did fine when she got in there the second half, and she was the biggest cheerleader on the sideline when she wasn't in there. And it's depth.
And Kim, Chad asked Dejanay about it, that football pass that she had to Nalissa for the layup. She's just an athlete, isn't she?
Her dad would be proud of her. He played in the NFL for years, and in fact, I think yesterday, I didn't see it. I was on the other side of the curtain, but I heard all the screaming. I think they have a football with them, and when they're warming up, they throw some passes. And I got to tell you, I tell this to my son all the time. y'all better find you some athletic women, because they had some girls I heard throwing some deep routes and catching it, and that's impressive. So doing it in a basketball game's not surprising, but I know her dad's got to be proud.
Thanks, Kim.
Next question comes from Colby.
Hi, Colby Gordon, Austin American Statesman. Congrats on the win, Coach. Just talk a little bit more about Dejanay. Just kind of, just talk about her game and just what she brings to the team. I thought she was outstanding today.
Dejanay's been outstanding since she's been at Baylor. She had a little pause there where she was, like the rest of us, had COVID, and it kind of took her out of the swing of things early in the season. She has experience. She has skill. She can shoot the three. She can take you off the dribble. She can post you up. The thing that's impressing me is how quickly she's picked up our defensive concepts. And to only have been here, since school started, and to do what she's doing defensively, it fits her skill level. And she's a phenomenal player, and she's healthy, and that matters. I know at Stanford she was not healthy, and it cut short her years there, but we're fortunate to have her. We're blessed to have her, and what a very good teammate she is, and just a great player.
What does that allow, you to do to bring off, I know she kind of plays starters minutes, but bringing off a grad transfer, with that experience and knowledge off the bench, what does that allow you to do?
Well, I think it brings a spark to our team. But, Trinity Oliver has been in the program 3 years and knows things that Dejanay didn't know when the season started because of little things that I may do through the course of a game. And Trinity knows it, and Dejanay will look like, what is she talking about? But Dejanay picks up on things, and she makes up for things when she makes a mistake. She might turn it over on this end, but she's going to go down there and get you a big rebound or make a big defensive stop or get a steal.
That from Kim Mulkey and Dejanay Carrington following yesterday's win on top of, how about it, Virginia Tech, who came in, they're supposed to be so good. Virginia Tech just got slaughtered. 90-48 final score in that one. Baylor's so dominant. 42-point victory. Thank you to Moon Urson for putting on another show. Stat sheet, Baylor shot 50%. They said it's 70 shots go up last night. They made 35 of them. That's wild, especially Virginia Tech made 16 shots. 16 of 53. The disparity, folks. The disparity. Free throws, Baylor got to the line 20 times. Virginia Tech 8. Rebounding, 53-23. 20 offensive boards for Baylor. 13 blocks, Virginia Tech had 0. They had 2 players that averaged 2 blocks or more per game. Steals, 9-5. Baylor won it. Baylor only turned the ball over 9 times last night en route to scoring 90. Folks, that's just a bloodbath. Hey, how about this? Armstrong, you have that Pete Weber video? Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. It's emotional. That's a moment in sports history right there. Hate me or love me. You watched. That's all you could do. Pete Weber has retired from professional bowling after 41 years on this day. Wow. How about coming up? Yesterday we had baseball. Baseball and softball both notched. They both had games. One notch to win. Softball was able to notch to win 7-3, and then baseball fell 4-3 in extra innings against UT Arlington. Softball beat Sam Houston State. Tomorrow we got track at the Texas Relays in Austin. Start your Thursday. On Friday, track at Texas Relays. Women's golf versus Ping and ASU at the ASU Invitational. The Ping Invitational? Phoenix, that's in Phoenix. Equestrian has number 3 Oklahoma State. Women's tennis has Houston. Volleyball versus number 2 Texas. Got to go to that one Friday night in Waco. Softball at Texas Tech in Lubbock. And then baseball at number 12 TCU. That's going to be a fun series coming up this weekend. And then Saturday's a full slate as well. Baylor and Villanova at 4:15 p.m. on CBS. So going to be a fun weekend of sports and a lot of breakdown as we go through the rest of the shows this week. Tomorrow we have another all-star cast of characters coming on the show as guests to help us break things down across college basketball. That's going to be a main focus tomorrow. We'll see some highlights from that softball and baseball wins and hear from their coaches as well on tomorrow's show. All right, celebrity birthdays. Armstrong? Let's see. Celebrity birthdays today. I'm going to give you one guess on who has a birthday today. And they're a celebrity.
Pete Weber.
Maybe.
That was a good guess.
I don't know. I haven't gone through the list yet, but maybe.
Okay.
Jack Johnson. Banana Pancakes, Jack Johnson.
Yeah,
Not Jack Johnson, who's a sophomore at Baylor.
48.
Jack Johnson's a sophomore at Baylor. 25. Woke up early in the morning.
Jack Johnson's 25.
Trying to feel
I don't
the
buy that.
light of day.
I don't buy that for 1 second.
No, that's Heaven Falls. I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking
see
about.
It's just raining. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes.
Hey, I even know it.
He's not 25.
Outside. You're just in it all the time.
He's 45 years old. I just looked this up.
Just see that it's just rain.
I'm not allowing the people to listen to that. I just cut out Drake's mic. Yes.
Banana Pancakes, Jack Johnson's 45.
Yeah, there's no way he was 25. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, well, this says Jack Johnson, pop singer, 25. Are there 2 Jack Johnsons? Wow. Must be. Huh.
It must not. It's definitely not Jack Johnson, Banana Pancakes' birthday.
Really? Wow. So different Jack Johnson.
I guess.
So you got it. Did you say 45?
I said 48.
Okay. Wow.
I was right in there, though. Yeah.
When was Banana Pancakes released?
Yeah, that had to have meant that like his hit album was released when he was like 15 or something.
Okay. The Undertaker.
It was released in 2005.
Banana Pancakes?
So you're telling me that this man released his album when he was like
9.
10?
Yeah. Well, different Jack Johnson's 25 today. So it's not the real Jack Johnson's birthday. The Undertaker, the Underminer. How old is he?
Oh, no clue. 70.
56. Peyton Manning.
Ooh, I mean, he's going to be 48.
45. Tyler Toney.
Same. Oh, yeah, Tyler Toney. He's going to be 32. Really?
Wow. I thought he was older than that. I thought he was a lot older than that. Jim Parsons.
At some point, they're going to get to the point where, like, okay, we can't really do this anymore.
Yeah. Like, I'm 47. I have 4 kids.
I think some of them already have 4 kids.
One of them's 20. You know? You get to that point where you're like...
You're in college and I'm your dad.
Your dad.
Well, actually, that's not true because the Wiggles... I mean, basically what Dude Perfect is and could possibly morph into even more so is just children's entertainment. Like the Wiggles, I mean, there's people...
How old are the Wiggles?
I mean, some of them did it till they were like, like 55.
Seriously?
And then Dude Perfect, they can retire at an early age and they're set, man. They're so set.
Wow, I didn't guess I realized the Wiggles were that old. They're Australian?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they're Australian.
But I mean, like, there is major money in children's entertainment.
Is the Wiggles still going?
Yeah, with like different people.
Oh, they're the original Wiggles. Man, they were old. Holy mess, man.
But you don't realize that as a kid.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, there's the Wiggles.
The Wiggles. So Dude Perfect does have actually longevity.
How
they'd have to probably shift from less athletic things to more just like,
singing,
funny things.
How immoral and unethical do you think the Wiggles were off stage? How profane?
I would say not very much.
You don't think the Wiggles did like hard drugs in the back?
I don't think so. And I don't want to know that. I don't want to know.
Harry Houdini's birthday is today. Oh no, Jim Parsons.
50.
48. I didn't know he was that old. You know who Jim Parsons is? Yeah.
Maybe.
The Big Bang Theory. That guy.
Yeah. Okay,
Sheldon.
Okay, yeah.
Harry Houdini.
Like 100.
Okay. He's actually going to be 152. 152. Tommy Hilfiger. How old is he?
70.
Wow. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
No clue who this guy is. Never heard of him.
Tommy Hilfiger?
Just pulled out a random name.
Clothing line?
Just pulled out a random
Chris Bosh.
Number. 43.
37. See if we can find a couple more here if we do this.
Does he still play? No way.
Nah. He's not doing the hoops no more.
Yeah, no way.
Steve McQueen, you know who that is?
Yeah, Steve McQueen. He's going to be like 87.
Steve McQueen would have been 91.
Steve McQueen, legend.
You think so?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, legend.
Oh, yeah. What do you think happened this day in sports history?
A Grand National.
The 38th Grand National. We're back. They went away for a period of time, and now they're back.
We went out of a Grand National.
38th Grand National. Joe Cannon aboard 25-1 chance. Regal wins by a neck from Congress.
What? I'm going to say 1874.
1876. 55th Grand National. Bill Dollery aboard 9-2 favorite Gloucester wins by a massive 40 links from Aesop. Owner Charles Duff fields 2 more winners, 1912 and 1913.
1896.
1893. 1893. 2020. What happened in 2020? Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announces postponement of Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Summer Games because of worldwide COVID-19 pandemic.
2020.
Later, guys.
It was 2020. I'm Drake Toll. That's Armstrong Sims. What a fun day of up-tempo today. Come on back. We'll do it all over again. Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement today, 2019. Drake Toll, Armstrong Sims tomorrow, 11 to 2 all day long. You're going to see it. It's going to be happening. It's what it is. Dreams are made of. It's up-tempo. See you tomorrow. This has been Up-Tempo.